And I can't help but notice that this podcast is not Elden Ring.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, Jeff.
I'm thoroughly disappointed. My day is ruined.
I knocked on the door to come in, and you're like, Elden Ring? It's just the man.
Son of a bitch. I've got like the world's easiest job, play video games and talk about video games with your friends.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but I want to play video games without my friends. God damn it.
Get out of my house. I'm playing Elden Rings.
So welcome back, everybody, to not Elden Ring, but the Rage Select podcast. In Rage Select, I'm Jeff.
I'm Amanda.
Well, I can't talk about Elden Ring, or no, I can't play Elden Ring, but I can talk about Elden Ring because I've been doing nothing but playing Elden Ring for the past week. Also, by the way, before we get this started, I've had the same headache for like 6 days, and I'm going to the doctor.
Do you think that might be Elden Ring related?
Don't you Sophie's Choice me over here at the beginning. I'm sorry, sir. The diagnosis says that you're allergic to From Software games. We'll have to stop playing them.
No, kill me now, doctor.
Studies have shown that this also makes people allergic to games with bald men who shoot people in the face. I'm like, no! Yes, it appears if you want your headache to go away, you can only be a farmer or a steel worker from now on. Like, no! Welcome to Farm Select, everybody. My turnips are coming in nice. Anyway, Elden Ring came out. It's really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like to be honest, I mean, I feel like there are a lot of people online that are. There was like a lot of giving this game zeros on Metacritic, downvoting on Steam.
Yeah.
Like. I in the history of my life, I will never be able to understand the complaint of like, this game doesn't have ultra widescreen resolution support, 0 out of 100.
Yeah.
Do not buy this. And it's like, there's so much more to a game than whether it has widescreen support.
Right.
Like,
if it only has that and it's a shitty game, you'd be like, 10 out of 10.
Right, yeah, like the music, the sound, the story, like the action,
the gameplay, the feel.
Yeah, but I honestly, I just want to. I'm sure that everybody strap in, everybody get ready,
It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
No, you gotta get ready because you know how I talked about Dark Souls for like 10 years straight. Well, guess what?
You're in for another rough 10 years, everybody.
It's the decade of Elden Ring, ladies and gentlemen. No, it's really cool, and the thing is that it's great because this is the first time since literally Dark Souls that you've had a game where it's like, here's a brand new game that you don't have to know anything. You can just start from scratch. Like, and I swear to God, like all of the things, like I kept reading these reviews of this game that was just like, 0 out of 10, like it's just Dark Souls, but it looks way worse. It looks like a PlayStation 3 game.
What?
And it's garbage. They didn't even change anything. And I'm just like, that's just a lie.
Yeah.
Like it's just not true because there's all these things in the game that have changed. And so I think that some of the complaints that I've been seeing come from the fact that they don't understand why the game has changed.
Yeah.
So like when you start the game, it's really hard. Like when you come out of the tutorial dungeon, like the things that you run into, if you follow the critical path, there are these big roadblocks that are set up to keep you to like make it harder to move forward. And the reason for that is to be like, this is hard. Go explore.
Yeah.
Go find some armor. Go beat a boss. Go beat a mini boss. Go find a trinket or a thing. Because then if you look at the way that the game, because you come out of the opening area and the first thing that happens is a giant motherfucker on a horse that's just walking around and you're like, I'm going to go kill that guy on that horse. It's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
I mean, you could try, but no, you're not. But like right on the other side of the guy with the horse, there's a church, and in the church is the first vendor, and that vendor sells you the thing to craft stuff. And like when you start going into the world, you'll get the option to pick these flowers. And it didn't dawn on me until later that was like the first section of the game. There's all these orange flowers called like Erd leaf petals or something, and that's what you use to craft the thing to invite other people to play the game with you. So it's like they're making sure that the first things that you pick up in the game that you're going to have a bunch of in your inventory are the things you're going to need the first time you come to a boss that you can't get over. And like the first boss in the game is really difficult, and it's like that's to make you be like, I should go look around. And if you go look around, like you could find a vendor that'll sell you a thing that makes that boss stop in place a few times during the battle. So the whole thing is just because I bought the game again on Steam and I made a new character. And so I'm like 45 hours in the game. I'm all powered up. I'm fucking zooming around the map. But I went back and I was playing it on Steam and I was just looking at like, what does the first hour of this game look like? And it's like, it's such a clear progression where it's like you go from this thing and then you see there's a church and you go to the church and then you leave the church and there's like a forest where you can see a guy with torches in this forest. So you go kill these guys and then there's a cave right there. You go in that cave and there's a first mini boss. And then like on the other side of the cave, there's this big checkpoint full of soldiers and that gives you like the map and like this thing that you can use to equip special things on your weapons and like here's the first like summoning thing and then you rest at a bonfire and this lady shows up. She's like, here's your horse. You're like, great. Oh, and you have some money now, so you should probably go back to the vendor. So you go back to the vendor and there's another lady there who's like, let me give you this thing to let you summon wolves if you need help.
That's funny. Yeah, and John was telling me about summoning the wolves and he's just like, the game changed for him when he got those wolves.
But like all of it is in a way where it's like, this is logically what a person would do. And so like, when you leave that checkpoint and you go through the critical path, you come to this area that's like a bunch of archers that are all shooting into the where you're coming from, and then a giant jumps down in front of you. And this is to show you don't have to fight this stuff. You can just get on your horse and fucking go around it.
Piece out of it,
because it's hard, like at that level where you would be in the game. Or you can try going in the other direction, and it leads you to a bunch of other stuff. So, like, it's really good because there's things in the game I haven't heard anybody even talking about. Like, everybody's doing that thing on the internet where they're like, here's how to get the best armor in the first 20 minutes of the game. But like one of the things you get really early on is a thing. So in Dark Souls, you have to put down a sign on the ground so that people can summon you into their game to help you out. But there's a new thing that you get where you just like use this talisman and it just scatters your summon sign out in the area that you're in, and anybody who's
it's like a Wi-Fi cloud,
anybody that's standing at a boss door will then see your summon sign, and so you'll just be like running around doing stuff, and you're just like, boop, here I am, which does double duty because not only does it let you help somebody out, and if you haven't been to that boss, it gives you a preview of that boss, and if you haven't been to that boss, it shows you on the map like where you could go for another boss. Like there's all these little interlocking systems that are just like, holy shit, you guys really put the work in on this. And the idea that it's like no ultra widescreen support, 0. It's like
it just seems like in a world where there's not a whole lot of like video games love to handhold you through stuff where they'll be very like objective based and it's like clear list objective. Go to Bob to give Bob this, you know what I mean? Where this, from what I've heard from John and you, it's very like organic where it's just
there's no quest log.
You just go and you do and like it's an actual game where the intention is to explore and it's not like a side product of it being an open world. It's a part. It seems it's a part of it.
You know what it is? It's really kind of interesting thing is like there are no icons on the map except for the places. So you got the little chevrons where you can quick travel to like a rune, the bonfires, right? A save point essentially. And then if you look at the map, there are these little yellow streaks, like little lightnings, that'll show you like this is the critical path. So if you want to go to the next like boss to progress the game forward, follow this path of little yellow icons to where you're going. But other than that, there are no icons. And so I found that it's like the difference between opening up the Horizon Zero Dawn or the Assassin's Creed map and seeing a billion icons that each one of them represents a task you have to do, as opposed to opening a map that has no icons, but you can look at the map and go like, that looks like a church or like a building. Let me put a waypoint there and then go see what the fuck is over there. And you're like, oh, it is a building. Oh, it's a boss. Oh, cool. I can fight this boss. Or when you learn that like, oh, this little hole icon on the map indicates a mine. And I know the mines have the upgrade materials that I need to upgrade my things. It's like the opposite of choice paralysis. It's like instead of giving you a million choices, they just kind of give you an actual like open world and then say, you decide where you want to go, what you want to do.
It seems like there's no wrong answers except if you end up in a place where people are enemies are too strong.
Right.
But then that's
But you
not
just turn around.
Right. But then it's not a wrong answer, because then it's just, okay, I'm not ready to go there, and then you just turn around, because like John has dealt with that, where he's like explored and he's like, I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah, so it's almost like it fixes a problem that I've been wrestling with for a long time, of the like, open your map and there are so many icons that you're just like, I don't even want to start this. This is too much.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to start. Where like, if I had opened up the Elden Ring map and there were icons everywhere, it would have been like, but the fact that like you don't even get the pieces of the map until you find them. Like, you'll go into an area and you just look at the map and there's nothing there until you find the map for that area.
Yeah.
It's really elegant, and in a lot of ways I feel like I haven't seen a lot of people drilling down into what makes it really special, as opposed to just being like, here's where the Zweihander is, or like, here's how to beat the first boss. And it's like, well, all that's important, and I know there's a whole cottage industry of making wikis for these games, essentially, but there's just so much going on here that makes it different. Like, I feel like a lot of people are just like, oh, it's Breath of the Wild with Dark Souls on top of it, and it's like, but
there seems more to it than that.
That's like saying that, you know, pasta is just noodles and sauce. Like, you know, when you put them together, something really special happens that's bigger than the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
So I think that this is going to be, I don't know. I know what games are coming out this year so far, and it's been a while since I've been this excited about a From Software game. It probably was Bloodborne was the last time.
Yeah.
Because Dark Souls 2 and 3 being direct sequels were not interesting to me.
Yeah, a little less appealing.
Sekiro I didn't like very much, and then Demon Souls was just a remake of a game I've already played 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So it's like, here's a brand new thing with brand new characters, but it's also similar. I think that somebody said it was, you know, it was like Skyrim with Dark Souls combat, and I'm like, oh, that's great, because the thing that was wrong with Skyrim was that the combat was garbage.
Yeah. When I tried playing Skyrim, that was
Anywho, sorry, I gotta stop. I gotta stop.
Certainly not going to be any more Elden Ring conversation the rest of this podcast.
No. Definitely
take a shot every time.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
We made them all alcoholics.
Before we move on, Amanda, have you watched or done or played anything interesting in the last week or so?
I am currently watching a Netflix series called Archive 81 that I wanted to talk about because I think it's fantastic. We're not done with it yet. It's only 8 episodes, but I'm real slow at watching TV shows. So the fact that I'm like 5 episodes in means that I love this show.
Damn right.
Benson and Moorhead are a director team that I love, and I've talked about on our.
I did that. Was the romance one with the lady? Spring,
Resolution, The Endless, the Synchronicity is on Netflix.
Oh yeah. I didn't see that one.
I haven't seen that one yet either. Yeah. But they directed a few episodes of Archive 81, which was the reason I watched it in the first place. It's based on a podcast, apparently, but basically it's a guy that restores film, like damaged films.
I watched the first episode. I haven't seen much more of it yet.
It's very, very good. I genuinely enjoy it because it's not scary in like a shitty like jump scare kind of way.
Yeah.
They rarely do anything nothing's been like ghosts or you know what I mean, where it's it feels very haunting, but they're never just like, and a spooky ghost is behind you or whatever. It's very fucking, it creates an atmosphere without having to do anything specific. Plus the main actor, I'm gonna butcher his name, Mamoudou Athie. He's been in a few things that I love. He was in Unicorn Store. And he's a great actor and I love him, and he does a lot of things. He's been in a lot of stuff, but I feel like he's underappreciated. So I love that he's the star of this, and I think he's fucking phenomenal.
Okay.
But I love it. And then the only other movie I've seen, because I know I had this goal to watch a bunch of movies. The only movie I've seen in the last few weeks is Stray Dog by Akira Kurosawa, 1949 noir. It's good. It's like 2.5 hours long, and I invited my so this is the first time hanging out with my coworker, first time meeting his wife, first time him meeting John, and I picked a 2.5 hour long Japanese 1949 noir film. When we left, I was like, I am so sorry. It was great. Like, it's a fantastic film. It's Kurosawa, but like, also, holy shit.
Maybe not the best like first
to like hang out. Everyone, nobody wanted to hang out afterwards. Everyone was just like, that was a lot. I'm gonna go home.
I gotta leave.
Yeah.
Like, next week, Lost Highway and Mulholland Drive double feature.
So I made a horrible mistake, but it was fun to watch.
Okay. Yeah, I need to get back into Archive 81. I feel like I did a big sea change last week because a bunch of my shows ended and I finished the books that I was reading and the podcasts that I was listening to and the audiobooks. And I was like, okay, I need a new anime. So I started watching this one called 86 that's kind of interesting. And
I watched the first episode of that anime you told me about, the My Dress Up Darling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
How was it? I haven't seen it.
The first episode was very sweet. It was very cute. And I want to watch more. But then like the whole Funimation thing happened.
Oh, right.
We canceled Funimation. So Funimation is transferring all their stuff to Crunchyroll, and we didn't have Crunchyroll. We only had Funimation. And though I still would have access to it, and it's technically free on Funimation.
Funimation did like the subtitles on their service are bad. Those look bad.
Yeah. So I was like, well, I'll just continue watching it, but I'll do it on Crunchyroll, and I just don't have the login info for it yet. So it's just I watched one episode, and then I'll watch the rest later, and then all this stuff happened right afterwards, and I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll watch it a little later than that.
On the other hand, Crunchyroll keeps logging out. And I have like
John has that issue.
A password manager, so my password is just like a alphanumeric string of garbage.
Yeah.
And every time it logs out, it's like, let me do the remote login. Nope, that didn't work.
Yeah.
So now I have to fucking pull out my Xbox controller and be like, ampersand, exclamation point.
Why did I do this to myself?
KX, uppercase 9, whatever.
Well, now everyone knows your password, Jeff.
No, I was making up. Uppercase 9 is not a thing.
Uppercase 9 is a thing.
But what is a thing is a Pokemon.
Pokemon thing.
There was a Pokemon. I was actually
Pokemon Day, right?
Yeah, it was Pokemon Day. I was actually very scared because I saw just like, here's a roundup of everything that happened on the Pokemon thing, and I was like, oh god, is there like a 2.5 hour Pokemon stream? And it's like, no, it's 13 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like less than 15 minutes.
Yeah,
I forced John to watch it.
So
and most of it was about their mobile games, and I was like,
yeah,
who cares?
It was a little. I mean, like, it was just one of those things where I was like, hey, Pokemon Go is getting
a new
the Alolo region, the Adventures of Alolo,
which is like cool.
Characters.
If you care about I would have cared about those characters, but I don't play Pokemon Go anymore.
I guess the thing for me is that in watching this, I was like, I feel like we've hit max Pokemon. Like there's like 2 current Pokemon games in addition to Go, in addition to the other phone game, in addition to like updates for games that have been out for a little while.
Yeah.
It's just there's so much Pokemon, which I guess if you're into it, like, great.
Yeah,
but
John and I were talking about it, and I was like, I'm so hyped. There's a new Pokemon game. Like, the starters look amazing. This is fantastic. And I tried talking to other people about it who were, like, my Pokemon people.
Yeah.
And they were like, I'm excited. Like, who cares? And I'm like, why aren't you guys pumped? And it's like, because we just got a Pokemon game.
Yeah, because Arceus or whatever came out, like, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And, like, Sword and Shield remake came out in like November of last year. Like, it has not been that long.
I guess because I don't do all of it, because like I didn't do Sword and Shield. I was like,
oh no, wait, was it
not Sword and Shield?
Diamond and Pearl?
Yeah,
remake.
Sterling,
and then
Diamond and Pearl.
That one was the Sword and Shield was like 2020.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, and I did play Sword and Shield. I lied. I meant I didn't play the Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah.
But so because I don't like if they're like it's a remake, I'm like I'm not fucking touching it.
I don't need to play these games multiple times. Thank you very much.
So yeah, I mean, and I love Arceus, but I really wanted something in modern time and not their.
Like Pokemon Masters EX, which is a phone game that I had no idea even existed.
Yeah, same. When we were watching, we were like, what the fuck?
And it's like, there are 165,000 trainers, and we're adding 2 billion more.
Yeah, in new special outfits. And I was like, neat? Like, I care.
Cool beans, bro.
Ooh, when like a little kid's trying to tell you about something, you're like, wow.
Well, that's the guy. That guy is the big trainer from Sword and Shield, right?
Yes. That's him.
So yeah. Oh my God, I recognize Pokemon things. Kill me.
What a fucking
Kill me now. Kill me now. Yeah, because I knew this was a phone game. I was like, what is this? And they were like, compete now to get 5,000 gems. And I was like, oh.
No, not touching it.
Okay. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff coming to that. May and
Neat.
Skyla and Tornadus.
New fancy outfits.
Is that Pokemon wearing a bra? It's
Oh
like
my
a
God.
mustache Pokemon that's wearing a big bra.
Don't judge me for my mustache or my brassiere.
Is it a bro? Is it a man's ear?
No, it's a man's ear. Yeah. They're called pecs.
I just need to hold them up. So yeah, there's the that's getting an update.
Super excited. I'm really excited.
Cafe Remix is getting some new stuff.
Yeah.
Is anybody? I wanted to play this on Rage Select, but it only works as on the touchscreen.
Yeah,
like
I
you
played
can't play it
on
with the controller.
Yeah, I have it on my Nintendo Switch. I play it sometimes.
This is like
It's kind of annoying, to be honest with you. Like, I thought, because I love shitty like puzzle games where you like swap these two gems so that they match or whatever, and this is using the touchscreen connect these Pokemon.
Right.
It's fun. It's dumb. I mean, I don't know.
So they're getting like there's like a new Animal Crossing like bird that'll take you to take your treats to other because it's the one where you were in a coffee shop for Pokemon or whatever, and like you can put hats on.
Did we try to play this?
Probably.
And then it didn't work because you had to use a touchscreen or something. Yeah, I think that's what happened because you introduced me to this. Yeah, and then I was like, I'm gonna buy it. And
this Victini is in Pokemon Cafe Remix.
Yeah.
I should just keep talking about Elden Ring because I don't know about what's going on here.
Pokemon Cafe is my Elden Ring.
Bulbasaur's got a crown.
Yeah, they're like outfits for
put a hat on your Pokemon. Put a hat on your pat. A hat on your hat. Anyway, that was a thing. The Pokemon Arena, the MOBA that I played one time and ruled out with Snorlax and will never play again.
I mean, yeah.
Fucking
Snorlax is the best.
Owned with Snorlax, and that was pretty much the end of it. Apparently, it's getting like a new mode where there's no like cooldowns on any of the powers, which is a big thing for MOBAs. You can just execute powers constantly.
Fuck people up.
Yeah. There's also... like this thing, it says like on special days you can play as any Pokemon you like, and that's because you have to win battles to earn currency to buy unlocks for different Pokemon. Yeah, because it's a free to play garbage mess.
People seem to like it. Apparently, didn't even know it existed, but
I guess
I'm not exactly a MOBA person.
Yeah. I worked past that, man. It's like
what is this?
League and Dota 2.
2000?
And they're putting Hoopas in here?
Tell me what you know about Hoopa.
I don't know anything about Hoopa. It can teleport and then it turns into a giant fucking
it looks
eldritch monstrosity.
Crazy after,
with like a gajillion
it's a fucking cosmic horror beast.
Hands. It looks like an angel, like an actual angel.
Like the one I got tattooed on my leg?
Yes, like that
I got
one.
an actual angel tattooed last week, I think. Yeah. Pretty proud of it.
So yeah, Hoopa.
Yeah.
There's like t-shirts and some, I don't know, whatever, man. Like, it's fine.
We were watching. We were just like, neat.
Yeah, cool beans. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl is getting this, like, it's just this one Pokemon. Like, it's a free DLC where you get
it's like a hedgehog.
An invitation from Professor Oak, and then you get this one Pokemon.
It's cute, though.
It's
a hedgehog with flowers in its hair. It's a little grass hedgehog.
Yeah, but it's not like DLC. It's not like a new part of the land or anything. It's just like, here's one Pokemon, I guess, for your team.
I love it. It's so cute.
Shaman the Gratitude Pokemon.
It's so cute, though. It's a shrub.
It's a shrub hog. It's a hedgehog shrub with little flowers on the side.
I want one.
But you just want a regular one.
I want a hedgehog.
What were your feelings at the very beginning of this when the guy was sitting there and he just had a Pikachu behind him? Like,
did not notice it.
Pikachu.
Yeah, I did not notice it until he said something and then it made a noise and I was oh Jesus Christ! I thought it was a stuffed animal the whole time.
I was looking at it. I thought it was a stuffed animal. And then it started blinking and I was like, that's no stuffed animal. Pokemon are real.
Yeah, I saw a lot of comments of like, you guys creating Pokemon and not telling us.
Yep. From there, we actually got Arceus is not this is not like an announcement for DLC. It's an announcement for like the 1.10 update.
Yeah.
That's going to have just a couple of things where there's like
new pokies.
There's some new events where there's like big clusters of Pokemon. There's some new battling opportunities. I don't know what was going on at the very end where it was like they were in the cyber dimension with the big Pokemon from like Sword and Shield, I guess.
When
they look like those guys.
I forgot what they're called, but they're like sorry, Voltorbs.
Yeah, so that's happening. It's just it's called Daybreak. It's just a free update, 1.1 update.
Yeah.
Which, I have to appreciate that if there's one thing that Nintendo is good at or has proven to be good at, it's like incremental updates to games that already you could be playing for a long period of time to be like, oh, here's some new stuff for Animal Crossing, the game you've been playing for 6 months, or, here's DLC for Mario Kart that's 4 years old or whatever.
People are so mad about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're getting more stuff for this game that you're still definitely playing.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on here at the end.
It just looks like a little battle arena thing.
I guess. Are they going to bring
Those are horrifying, though.
Ultimax? Are we going to have Ultimax characters in Arceus?
Maybe.
Cool. Can you imagine if you were running around on the map and something went Ultimax?
I'd be like, it's all aggro, fucking alpha.
Get away.
This guy's jacket.
Yeah, this guy looks like
fucking want it so bad.
This guy from the Pokemon Company, he's like sitting in front of this thing with us. He looks like a very fun person. He's got this like sweater, this like multicolored sweater, and he's got this kind of gray hair. And he's like, he's got like a shirt that looks like it has little like Pikachus or Pichus or something on it. But like every Nintendo presentation, you have to look directly into the camera.
Yeah, and you're very typically pretty serious about it. Yeah, deadpan.
And just be like, here's the next thing. Hope you're ready for fun and enjoyment.
Yeah.
Snap.
Yeah. But still.
Like I miss I want to go over to Japan and be like, let me do the next one. I'm just like, what up? Fucking pull your pants up. It's time for more Pokemon, babies.
They'd be like, fucking Americans.
Fucking Americans. That's right. They're gonna get super excited for Jeff because I'm pretty subdued, but I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna be fucking
amp up.
Macho Man Randy Savage meets Bobcat Goldthwait on Whippets. Yeah. Also, you get a bunch of balls.
Fuck yeah.
You get a bunch of balls in Pokemon Arceus. What else? Oh, there's going to be an anime based on the region, the Hansu or whatever region.
Which is neat. I'm not going to watch it, but it's neat.
No? You're not going to watch Pokemon anime?
No, I mean, I did when I was a kid. The first one. I don't need to watch more. I'm an adult. I'm 34 years old. I'm not going to watch the new Pokemon anime.
Now I watch cartoons about cosplay, not about Pokemon.
First of all, there's so much attention to her tits in that anime. It's not meant for children.
When I was watching the guy, the Mother's Basement video on it, and he was like, I wish I could show you more, but while I've picked like the most PG things to show you, and the rest of it is like very much, let's look at this person's butt and boobs.
100%. She's like in a dress that she tried to make. The whole point is like the male love interest can sew and the female love interest wants to cosplay, but she can't sew. She shows him a dress that she made, and it's like, wow, this is a long shot of her in a barely made dress. Like, we all know we got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then we had the last thing. This is the big announcement.
Hell yeah, it is.
I don't understand this video that they made.
I don't either, but I'll allow it if it means I'm getting a new Pokemon.
This like security guard, and he's walking around a skyscraper at night, and like the Game Freak offices, the doors got like poltergeists in it or something, and then
he's
he goes
like, I better
in.
go check if there's ghosts in there.
Yeah, but then when he goes in, I don't understand. He opens the door, and it's like an old-timey office.
Yeah,
it's like an apothecary's like,
I feel like on paper this was like a great idea, and then they did it and nobody stopped to be like, is there an actual story here in this commercial?
The thing is that I wouldn't know, because it's possible this might mean something to people that are way into Pokemon.
Yeah,
but I don't get it. It's just like he goes in, it's a cool looking room, it's like, weird.
There's definitely like references to things all around it, but why?
I don't know.
Like, what is it?
I don't know. So yeah, this is the announcement of Pokemon. Was it Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet?
Yes.
Which is going to be the next game. It looks an awful lot like Arceus, but in a modern day.
Yeah, which is what I want.
It's being made by Game Freak, who also made Arceus.
Yeah, I mean, it looks a little Sword and Shieldy.
By the way, guys, if I'm not saying that right, I don't know.
So I always called it Arceus, and then in the Pokemon video, in this video, they called it Arceus.
Okay.
Which I was like, well, I've been looking like an idiot.
They should, when you start that, the guy that you meet on the beach should be like, welcome to the world of Arceus.
Yeah.
It like really spells it out for
Yeah.
you. This looks modern. It looks like some people are saying that there appears to be some kind of like
I'm down for
Spanish influence to
Yeah,
it.
okay, so all of the starter Pokemon are Spanish words. Like the
let's see. I think I got
it's
this.
Fuecoco is like a fire.
It's a stupid.
I love him.
It's like a dragon and an apple, and he's stupid.
He looks like he's the one I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
So don't insult him. It's Fuecoco, and then it's like Quaxley. I can't remember their names. I don't remember the cat one, but it's also like a gato. It's Spanish based. But yeah, so people Sprigatito and Quaxley. It feels like it's a combo. You know how like a lot of the Pokemon with English names have like a combo of like English words, and you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's this and that or whatever.
Right.
The same thing.
Chimchar.
Yeah, and so it's that, but in Spanish, and so people are kind of hoping that there's a bit of a Spanish influence on everything, just to get something a little
different.
Yeah,
different,
I like to be represented by a saucy ass duck with his hand out. I just think he's so.
I do think he's
a sassy duck.
Are some of the stronger starter character designs that I've seen in a Pokemon game in a while.
Yeah.
It's like a cat that obviously is like a grass type that has like leafiness instead of fur.
Yeah. I'm gonna call him Weed Garfield.
Weedfield.
Stoner
this
Weed.
weird apple dragon.
I love him.
Doof monster, and then a duck with a pompadour and blue feet. So
and his little hand out though. Why is he standing all sassy?
Oh yeah, he's got one hand like
on
out
his hip, and then the other hand is like out.
Yep.
He's like, bitch. Somebody already turned him into a JoJo reference, like because the pompadour. It was like
I could see it.
Artists went nuts on these. Like my Twitter was full of different renditions of these characters.
Yep.
But I'm always psyched for a new Pokemon game.
It looks a little bit. I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I think the Switch is starting to get a little long in the tooth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that Arceus is a good example of like there are some limits as to how much the Switch can do these days, especially the longer time. If you have a newer console and you keep looking at the graphics on the newer console and then you look back at it, but it has a pretty solid style, and I mean, people like Pokemon.
They do.
I don't know. I kind of stalled
nerds.
out on Arceus, and then every game in the world came out. So
Yeah.
it's like, guys, I'm not going to finish Elden Ring. Also, there's a point in this video with this guy after he sees the future where there's like just a sandwich here.
Would you have just eaten that sandwich?
It looks like a good sandwich, man.
It looks like a really good sandwich.
It's like they took like half of a full baguette and then made like some fucking nice, crunchy, crusty lunch Sammys.
I feel, as somebody who makes baguettes for a living, I always forget that you can make a sandwich with one.
Oh,
because I always slice them into like little medallions and like toast them up and put stuff on them, as opposed to like if you cut them long ways.
Was that the thing where you do that and then you put like it's like an Italian thing, right? Bruschetta, where it's like you put like the Italian pico de gallo on top or whatever.
Italian pico de gallo. Don't ever say that for an Italian person. You are not going to make any friends.
No, I'm not making friends with Italian people about food to begin with. I remember when
I like ketchup, and they're like, get out.
No, I just don't see why everybody's so fucking over the moon about like, their pasta. Like I like the real springy Japanese noodles, not the fucking just like here's some noodles and here's some sauce.
You give me carbs, I'm happy. I don't care what it is.
Yeah. I remember when I was in Italy and I was like, I'm fucking sick of pasta. I want to get out of here.
I don't know. It would take a while for me to be sick of pasta, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, now that all the Italians have turned it off, let's make an Italian joke.
No.
Yeah. So that was it. That was Pokemon. I mean, like, I'll be honest here. 90% of that was not garbage, but it was just
like,
fucking updates and here's some new shit. And then like, hey, let's introduce a new Pokemon game.
They're so cute.
With new starters for the internet to go crazy for.
Fuck yes.
I feel like if this had stopped before that happened, the internet would have been so mad.
Yeah, what a lame Pokemon day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess at this point we can't see likes and dislikes anymore. Or it looks like they might have even disabled likes. Why don't I even see any likes on this?
Because they don't show you.
Oh, really?
You can turn. I think it's the thing where you can like turn it off, and so only the creator can see the likes and dislikes. So,
I mean, I know you can't see dislikes, but I think you could still see likes.
maybe if you like it, it'll tell you how many people like it.
I don't want to like it. I don't like to. I don't want to.
Fuck my algorithm.
I don't want to express my because then YouTube is going to be like. He hit like for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Show him Pokemon until he throws up Pikachu colors. Like, just fucking keep showing
like
it to him.
you don't throw up Pikachu colors all the time.
Look, I eat a lot of butter, okay? It's not my fault.
It just looks so yellow.
Yeah, so that was it. That was a big Pokemon thing.
Yay!
So, yeah, there you go. Let's see. So we have some more Nintendo news here. Nintendo... Switch Online just got a new weird thing. These are okay. What the hell is that? What do they call this? I'm trying to read this article at the same time. It's this reward system that you can get, and so it's like it's not real rewards, but it'll be like every week there'll be like missions. It'll be like play an NES game or like open up Animal Crossing or do whatever. And if you do one of those, it'll give you like these points that are called like platinum points or something. Like you like 30 of them for each one that you do, and then you can spend them to buy badges that you can use as avatars
like useless
or
shit
backgrounds.
That you don't want.
Exactly. So, some of the little avatars are kind of cool, but I don't want to. I don't want to do the Xbox has been trying for a long time to be like, here's your weekly task list, and if you do these, you'll get 500 points. And if you get 1,000,000 points, you can order a medium Domino's pizza. And I'm just like, no.
Joke's on you. I already ordered a medium Domino's pizza.
Look, a large Domino's pizza is like $8 with no tip if you go pick it up yourself. So like, my time is worth way more than $8 Xbox. But yeah, the fact that it's easy to do is a good thing.
Yeah.
So
it's cool. I get it. It's get people to kind of interact with things that.
Yeah.
But also, I'm never going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, this is obviously for younger players.
Fucking babies.
for bitch
you
babies.
You gotta start that addiction early.
That's right. Get them hooked on badges, and profile icons.
The whole thing is NFTs.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This is how you get started. First, you get badges, and then you start buying NFTs.
And then then you're dead to me. Then you're just fucking dead to me. Let's see. We also got the news last week that Nintendo has bought a gaming company. So we've had Microsoft and Sony and all kinds of people buying companies. And now Nintendo has bought a company, but nobody should get excited because they bought a company called SRD, which is Systems Research and Development. This is a company that's been working with Nintendo for so long, they help them make Super Mario Brothers.
Oh.
Like they're a tech firm that's been working with Nintendo, basically lockstep
You've already been here.
40 years.
Literally,
30 years.
Nintendo was like, do you want to make it official?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that they just bought like the controlling interest. They just bought all their stock, basically. They worked on the Super Mario Brothers, almost every Zelda game, like Animal Crossing, Ring Fit Adventure.
Yeah.
They're obviously like a tech solutions company and not like an artistic programming company. But,
That's very funny.
It was interesting because a little while back there was the president of Nintendo, Shuntaro Furukawa, got asked if they were going to make any acquisitions, and he talked about how they don't want to, like, they have a specific company culture. They don't want to just buy a company with a different culture that is not going to be compatible with like the way that Nintendo wants to do stuff, which is kind of interesting. So the fact that they bought these, I have the I get the impression based on where this was in the news cycle that like nobody's ever heard. I can't even tell you like have you ever seen the logo for SRD on a Mario game or anything? Like this is obviously some company that's just been doing shit for Nintendo and they just decided to absorb them.
Yeah.
So, but that's not the only company that we've got. That's the only company acquisition news that we have.
Oh,
because this is a really okay. I can't tell whether this is. Okay, two things. One, I cannot tell whether this story is legit or like the equivalent of like patent/copyright trolling. And two, I've been really fascinated over the years at the idea that like, we saw this with CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk, where it's like, if you have no moral or ethical obligation to the consumers that buy your product, so you can sell people rancid garbage.
Yeah.
And because this is America, it's just like caveat emptor, bitch.
Yeah.
Like I got your money, so go fuck yourself. But if you do something to fuck over the shareholders, now you're fucking with capitalism.
Yeah.
And we will sue your ass. So a private citizen in California named Kyle Watson has filed a lawsuit with actual lawyers against Activision Blizzard, and basically talking about how in the SEC proposal that they put out, his contention here is that the SEC proposal for the acquisition of Activision by Microsoft is not in the best interest of the company. That what it is it is a way to get huge payouts for the directorship of Activision Blizzard, which is not in the best interest of the stockholders, which as a corporate leader of a company, you are actually obligated to act in the best interest of the stockholders of the company, not in your best interest. It's technically like not legal for you to do something that would enrich you, while at the same time fucking over the shareholders, because you are supposed to be beholden to them. So that's kind of the beginning here, is that.
Well, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, basically, there's some quotes here about it's not the best interest of Activision Blizzard. It'll produce lucrative benefits for Activision Blizzard's officers and directors. And then they also talk about that there's apparently some kind of loose language in the SEC filing about like creating a
golden parachute thing.
No, this is an ad hoc committee. And kind of just loose language about like, oh, we're gonna analyze this and like we'll do it without doing the legalese of like nailing this shit down about just like we'll have a 10-person committee that starts in July and it goes for 6 weeks and then we'll produce a report that bases on blah 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 blah. That'll just kind of like loose language to just kind of get this thing pushed through. And it's an interesting idea because to be honest, we know from previous weeks that Phil Spencer contacted Bobby Kotick like 3 days after the initial Wall Street Journal article about Bobby Kotick knew about the abuses inside of Activision came out to broach the idea of a sale, and the idea that the Activision board of directors is selling Activision to Microsoft in order to get a payout because they don't want the bad press is technically not in the best interest of the people that own Activision, aka the shareholders. So I'm intrigued at where this will go. It'll be very interesting. But then also that's not all, because there is a second lawsuit that was filed in New York by it's so hard. Every article about Activision Blizzard decides to go back over every single thing that's ever happened with Activision Blizzard. A second shareholder in New York, this person's name is Shiva Stein, has been bringing up a similar complaint that the proxy disclosures aren't good enough. However, this person apparently has a record of being a prolific securities plaintiff. From this, it said that they filed 124 securities lawsuits between 2018 and 2020. And that a lot of them were actually dismissed because the companies in question then modified, clarified, and changed the wording of their agreements. So it's hard to tell whether this person is just, like I said, the equivalent of a patent troll, or whether they're there to be like, no, you need to like do this the way that you're supposed to, and not just kind of loosey goosey your way through, and then everybody gets a big check.
I assume they're both.
Or both, yeah.
Like they think of themselves as like, I'm doing this so that they do things properly, but like also that's, come on.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But yeah, you need people like that to make sure to kind of keep people in line for that sort of thing anyway, though.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I mean, there's a lot of eyes on this acquisition. And as I've said before, without going into too much politics, even though we're basically going to be going there anyway because of what is happening in the world. The Trump administration was not so concerned with companies acquiring other companies for large amounts of money.
Yeah.
The Biden administration is a lot more concerned with companies acquiring other companies for huge amounts of money.
Yeah.
So it's possible that this might take longer and or get blocked completely. Who can say? I will say, though, that it's been interesting to see the rise as like company shareholders as the only consumer defense that we have against companies just doing whatever with no consequences whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because technically you're breaking the law. Like the idea that there was a group of investors that got really, I think they might have been a sub lawsuit or something. There's a group of investors that were very mad at Activision because they were like, you can't hide sexual misconduct within your company, because if that comes out, that means that the stock price will go down, which means that by hiding it, you are hiding a risk factor from the investors in your company, as opposed to just like, well, it's bad to do such a thing because of morality. It's like there's actually a financial incentive as well.
Yeah.
And because this is America, you can actually like prosecute on that financial incentive, whereas you can't just say like, don't be shitty.
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, we'll take you to court for 40 years and argue about what does shitty actually mean.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what shitty means, though, Amanda.
What does shitty mean?
Shitty means Ubisoft in just about all cases, but not now. And I would like to just put a very brief thing. We are going to be talking about the effect of the Russian war in Ukraine on the video game industry for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stories. If that's not something that you want to hear, maybe come back after the break or skip forward or whatever. I'm not putting time codes in the description, but we're not discussing anything like, we're not going into like
the inner workings of Putin.
Right. Yes. So yeah, apparently Ubisoft, in one of the few times that I've been able to say a good thing about them, has been, because they have, one, they're based in France, and two, they have development studios all over the world, including there's some even just third-party developers or something in Kiev, has been focused on diverting resources from the company to try to help their people who are there. One of the things that they've done is they prepaid them for like the month that was going to come after, so that they had that money to be able to facilitate a way out of the country or to survive in the country if needed, by basically be like, we're going to give you, April's fucking paycheck now, and then like if this turns into nothing, then like, it's up to you to make sure you have next month's paycheck. But like if it does turn into something, it means that you have a big chunk of currency in order to try
survive,
to survive, which is that's really cool.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
That's a great thing. Apparently, another thing they've done, because they've got a lot of different kind of a lot of different offices all over Europe, is they've set up a lot of temporary housing in other countries, that if people from Ubisoft are leaving the Ukraine, they can go and basically go through the corporate structure to check in and like go to places that Ubisoft has that they can escape to. Which is amazing. That's great. I mean, by no means do I want it to sound like Ubisoft is the only company in the world that's doing stuff like this. Like, there's been a lot of support for this, but
yeah, of course,
it's always good. I call out Ubisoft a lot when they do crappy shit. This is something not crappy that they did, so I'm happy to say.
So it's worthy of being talked about.
Yes,
for sure.
What else? They also had, I think it was like one other thing. No, okay. So those were the main things. But but that's not all, because apparently there's been a lot of movement in the gaming industry kind of working in this direction. CD Projekt Red is based in Poland, which of course is very close to the situation.
Yeah.
Has donated $235,000 to Polska Alkia Humanitarna, a Polish organization for refugees. Techland in Poland is doing the same thing. There's a Polish company called 11-Bit Studios that kicked off an initiative to raise $715,000 in aid. Destiny Bungie is donating proceeds from Game to Give Drive to a similar organization. There's like a Discord for helping to coordinate with people that are leaving the country, find places to go. All this stuff is happening kind of just organically, I feel like, which is good.
It's really nice to see how naturally people fell into, well, how can we help mode.
Yes.
It's yeah.
Yes. Because there are a few companies. Also itch.io is putting together, they've done bundles for like Palestinian aid and racial justice and stuff like that, and they're putting together basically a fundraiser bundle for Ukrainian aid, which is also very good. I'm sure we'll do stuff. Let's see. We also got the story that's just a different link.
Whoops, wrong one.
Stalker 2 is a game that everybody has been really interested in. Stalker 2 is a game that was being made in Ukraine, in Kiev, by a company called GSC Game World, who kind of did an update last week saying like, we're not working on the game right now because we are trying to survive this horrible, shitty invasion. So, they kind of put out a video and a Twitter update saying like, we're aware, but we're all hunkering down right now, and so nothing's going to be happening. So if you have any,
if anyone gets mad at that delay, then fuck them, because they
it's
but I want my game now.
It actually, a lot of this just got me thinking about, I mean, we'll get into it in just a second because there's a few other things in here that have to do with it. Oh, actually, okay, I realized that my podcast links got messed up. Okay, this link got changed to something else, which is wrong. Like, one of the things that happened was that in Battlefield 2042, like Battlefield 2042's factions are like a largely Western allied faction,
right,
and then a largely like Eastern Russian faction. So like one of the things that they did was one of their weekly rewards for playing the game was this skin for a Russian helicopter that was kind of based on this is like World War II American fighter jets that had this like grinning kind of
like
shark teeth.
Mouth,
and they took that off because they were like, we don't think this is in good taste right now. It does, though. Like I said, it got me thinking a lot, and I don't think I have a conclusion to this, but it just got me kind of thinking about the idea of the number of games that have Russia in general in them, and how, I mean, I don't know about the people that are listening to this podcast, but most of the people that I know and a lot of the people that I listen to are just, general public opinion has been like, whoa, dude, that's fucked up and crazy. Like, I don't want any part of this. And it makes you think, because like Stalker, the game that GSC is making, is all about well, actually, no, because Chernobyl is in Ukraine, isn't it?
Yes.
So, man, I need to know more about European geography in the world. But it does bring up an interesting thing of like, do you want to play Battlefield 2042 when 50% of the time you're going to get put on ostensibly the Russian team? Which is different now than it was 3 weeks ago, where it was just like, oh, you know what, we've got this one generic team and this other generic team, and we're all running around shooting each other. And now it's like, okay, now you're on the Russian team running around shooting at the Western team.
Yeah, it's a little close to home right now.
Yeah. Let's see. The world's most beautiful game developer John Romero, the prettiest lady in all of video game development, made a new Doom 2 level and put it out this week for $5, and all the proceeds are going to, just aid.
Yeah.
At this point, the
That's awesome.
Red Cross, the UN Central Emergency Response Fund, which is kind of crazy. Fucking
Doom 2.
Romero put out a Doom 2 level.
Sure. I mean, why not?
Hey, and then let's see. We also saw that the ESL, the entertainment, or this is like the big esports operator, has basically announced that, and it's a quote, organizations with apparent ties to the Russian government, including individuals, organizations under alleged or confirmed EU sanctions related to the Ukrainian conflict, will basically not be allowed to compete in esports moving forward. There was like a person who, what was I reading about this? It's very strange. There's like one person who is like the son of one of Russia's oligarchs who does kind of competes independently, but they're just like, no, you're off too.
Yeah.
So, which I'm not entirely sure that makes a lot of difference in the grand scheme of things. Like, I don't know if that's where the pressure.
I mean, I think it's just like they had to make a line and follow through with it. You know what I mean? So, like, it sucks and seems weird to be like, all right, like this dude that actually has no connection, but
The other thing that's really weird though is it's so weird to see. I mean, I guess China hasn't done the same thing, but I feel like there's been a lot of like apologia over the years with the video game industry for like never ruffling China's feathers no matter what. And then this is just like this huge lockdown. I mean, like, God, the end of this is, and I don't even know really how to feel about, or this is a very weird story because EA Sports, specifically FIFA and NHL, are like removing the Russian teams from their games. But what's interesting is that the way that this article at least was framed was that like FIFA, the organization, is removing Russia from their team lineup, and so FIFA, the game, is then taking them out to mirror the lineup of what exists in the world. Like the NHL is because part of this was also talking about like the IOC, the Olympic Committee, like removing Russia from certain events, and then like having EA Sports use this. I don't even know if it's cynical or not, but it's like the framing of a lot of this was that these organizations removed these teams, and so we are going to do the same in our virtual video games. Is it not? I mean, one, to remain true to what's in life, but also kind of to be symbolic a little bit of like, I don't know. It's just this like a grand statement of like, you are not a part of this world anymore until you fucking get your shit together. Yeah. I don't know. It was like so like seeing it as a big grand front of everything, because like what was it, like Formula One had us a Russian event and they're like, we're not doing that. And like everyone's doing that, where they're very like, I mean, I guess nothing's happening until y'all get your shit together. I guess I just wonder because in a lot of cases, okay, so there's some companies that I would expect to have essentially the latitude and the freedom and the moral kind of guts to just be like, this is wrong and we want nothing to do with it, so we're going to basically stand in opposition to it, etc. But like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago EA had this Sims expansion for it was a wedding expansion, and the main story in the wedding expansion was a story about two women having a gay wedding, and they were like, we know that in Russia, basically being gay is against the law in Russia. And so we are not going to be able to put this out in Russia because we're not going to take the gay stuff out of it and release it in Russia. And then like a week ago, they came out and they were like, after doing some like talking and research, it turns out that we can release the game without making any alterations to it. So we are going to be releasing the game in Russia. And it was like, well, if your reason for not releasing it was because like we stand with gay people, like what is happening in this country is unacceptable and we are not going to do this until blah, that's one thing. But if it was just like, we're not going to release this because, one, we didn't want to spend the time and effort to edit it, and two, we knew that if we released it, that the Russian state like organizations were going to censor it or were going to lock it down and not allow us to sell it. So we're just going to we're going to basically say we're not going to sell it as a look how cool we are for standing up for gay rights.
Yeah.
Because we know that we're not going to be able to sell it without having to do all this stuff that would then get us bad publicity. But then when it turned out that we could sell it, we just decided to do that. And we were like, but now we're framing it as hey, good news, all our best buddies in Russia who love to play The Sims, it turns out we can release the gay wedding expansion. I mean, it's got regular weddings, sort of,
But then it's also but being... I feel like exposing people to, even if it's a Sims game, to the idea of gay relationships, wouldn't you want that out there anyway? Couldn't the argument be made that they're not censoring it, so we should get in what we can to kind of open that up to... Does that make sense at all?
Maybe. I guess the thing is that's why I'm a little side-eye with these, because it's EA.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
It's this smacks to me as something where somebody has realized that we can get the credit for taking a moral stand, but then pass the blame to but we're just doing what FIFA has. We're doing it because FIFA took them off, and so but we also stand with all of our brothers and sisters in Ukraine.
Is that terrible? When Gay Pride does rainbow, everyone just rainbow washes for a month.
Yeah.
Is that the worst thing in the world?
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Not at all.
Yes. I mean, it is because, it'll look good. The publicity is nice but whatever. But simultaneously, it still is what it is.
Sure.
It still does give the message of some sort of solidarity, even if temporarily.
Yeah. I just, for me, I think that I like to make sure to point that stuff out to be do not think that EA is a moral and company that is good. If they could make the money by doing something immoral with a reason that would make sure that they didn't get dragged on Twitter, they would do that. Probably.
That's fair. Yeah.
EA is not your friend. EA is not your enemy. EA is EA.
EA is a business, and you should have no loyalty towards a business ever in the history of mankind.
Right.
Yeah.
Do not give your loyalty to businesses. Yeah. I don't care if it's IO Interactive or From Software or fucking Hideo Kojima. Well, Hideo Kojima's a guy.
He's a person.
He's a person. But Konami, right? Well, obviously not them, but just don't. Anyway,
if you're thinking about it, don't.
Just don't. And with that, I think we're going to go ahead and take a break. We got a fair amount left to go. And I guess also maybe right before we take a break, I guess if it isn't already clear, dude, fuck all that shit. Don't invade other people. We have international laws that say that you can't do what Russia is doing.
Yeah.
You can't just invade another country, a sovereign nation, and say I wanted it, so it's mine now.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what your justification for it is. You can't just march a bunch of troops into a place and put a gun up against the person who leads its head and say, sign the paper that says that this is mine now.
Yeah.
Because without going into it, y'all, the Nazis did that, and we said we're not going to let that happen again.
Yeah,
so we made a bunch of laws and shit to say, nah, bro. So,
but also, damn Ukraine, you guys crazy. Have you been seeing those videos?
Yes.
Guy with the tractor just towing a fucking tank away. Or
I love the fact that they changed their street signs to be fuck you, go home. Also, fuck you, go home.
Have you seen the lady that just went up to a soldier and was can you put these sunflower seeds in your pockets so when you die at least flowers will grow? It's jeez, ma'am, that's fucking gangster-ish shit.
I saw a bunch of people driving around with a Kia Soul just throwing Molotov cocktails at our APCs. And I think they caught their own car on fire at the same time.
Fuck
oh
Ukraine,
my God.
you guys crazy. I fucking respect that shit.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we're gonna stop talking about foreign events, and we're gonna start talking more about video games.
Yeah.
And we're back. back.
Huzzah!
And yes, it is time to stop talking about foreign affairs. And this is not a foreign affairs podcast.
Welcome to Rage Select.
I went to animation school, for God's sake. I don't know anything. I'm just a guy with like an opinion.
I'm a college dropout.
There you go. We are very qualified to fix all the world's problems. Well, two burned out college dropouts.
100%.
All right, we were talking about EA when we left, but we have some more news from EA. So apparently, there's a game called Knockout City that was like a dodgeball online multiplayer game where you'd run around and throw dodgeballs. It was like a multiplayer action game, but you were playing dodgeball instead of shooting. Apparently, the company that made that, Velen Studios, has announced that they are basically disconnecting from EA and they're going to be self-publishing Knockout City moving forward.
Cool.
I think that this probably has a lot to do with like the fact that Knockout City never like really, everybody's always trying to put out a multiplayer game and that they then are like, oh, and it's the next Counter-Strike, it's the next Destiny.
That's it, yeah.
And then it's not. So what this means is that apparently their next kind of like season of content is going to be scaled back, and it's going to just be like kind of a best of as a placeholder to let them kind of get ready to relaunch as both the new season, independent, and then also free to play, because it was a game that cost money before, and now it's going to be a free to play thing. I think it was on Game Pass or something, but which, you know, the cool thing about games like this is that if you have a small community that is willing to spend money on your game, you can totally just fund a studio of like 5 people with a small audience. Like, I don't know anything about what it's like to have just, 400 or 500 people that are interested.
I've never heard of such a thing before in my life.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I wish them the best of luck. Knockout City was okay. It's kind of an interesting idea. I do think, though, that it's
a little cute concept, but
the problem that we're maybe not solving here is the fact that the more like they go on forever free to play online multiplayer competitive games there are, the harder it is to break into that space, because you already have Destiny and Halo and Fortnite and all those things.
Yeah.
So it's harder and harder to get an audience, because you've got the people that are interested in that are probably already playing other games.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Hopefully they work and we're not back here in 6 months to talk about how the studio is shutting down. Let's see. We also got an update from Bioware about Mass Effect and Dragon Age, more specifically. Last week, the executive producer for Dragon Age, Christian Daly, announced that they're leaving Bioware. So I think that this was kind of like a just no need to worry, everything is cool. They put up a blog post that was really interesting where they talked about how, games have a lot of different phases that they go through when they're in development, and how you'll have like the pre-production phase where you're mapping stuff out. And then like once you kind of get the idea of what your game is going to be, then you go into like full production, which is just generating the assets and the maps and the character dialogue and all that stuff. And that's where Dragon Age 4 is right now, as it is in production. So it's not as needed to have like, I feel like you need the most creativity in that early place where you're mapping out what the game is going to be.
Yeah.
And that once you have the roadmap, it's just doing the grunt work of churning out the game. And so that's where they are right now. They also just briefly mentioned that Mass Effect is still moving along. The new Mass Effect is still kind of in pre-production phase, but there's been a lot of kind of shakeups in EA, and it's good to kind of see them just, well, I don't know. It'll be nice if these games come out and they're good.
Yeah.
Like, that's the main problem.
Simple thing to hope for.
Yeah. I mean, we would like to play a good Mass Effect game. Or
it's been so long.
We tried to play Mass Effect Andromeda.
We tried so hard.
Yeah. Mass Effect Andromeda and Agents of Mayhem are the two. Amanda and Jeff tried to play this and just
pulled the ripcord.
No,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all. So, yeah. Let's see. In Elden Ring news,
take a shot.
we do have a little bit of Elden Ring news. This is interesting. So one of the big things that's been a problem for Elden Ring at launch is not ultra wide support, but apparently the fact that the frame rate is real stuttery on the PC version. I bought the PC version. I installed it. I had a few problems like really early on, but then it was just smooth sailing kind of once the game got going. I don't know if this is a thing. Apparently, one of the big things, we saw this with Resident Evil Village, where they'll have like anti-cheat software in the game that then has to like phone home and then has to wait for a response, and will end up like in Resident Evil Village, they found if they disabled, like if you used a hacked version of the game, like it was smooth as silk, and if you played like the retail version, it was real stuttery because it kept having to like
connect and okay, that makes sense.
I'm not entirely sure if that is the case. Is
that just like the running theory of what's going on?
I don't know. I bring that up as something that I've seen happen in a bunch of other PC games.
Yeah.
From Software actually came out that with a statement saying we will be constantly working to improve the game so it can be played comfortably on various PC environments and platforms. For the PC version, updating your graphics card driver to the latest version may significantly improve performance. It also should be noted that like I'm playing this on a relatively new computer. It's a Core i7. It's got an RTX 3060 card in it. It's it's not top of the line, but it's up there.
You didn't get the top of the line computer.
No, because like my computer cost $1,700 and the top of the line cost like $3,500.
Jesus Christ.
Like, also the power requirements are crazy. I didn't even know this, but apparently Elden Ring doesn't have ray tracing support in it or RTX support in it, but it is coming at a later date. So, the main reason I wanted to bring this up is because I think that in a lot of ways it's I've started to develop really bad feelings about the idea that like because a video game wasn't the most polished video game in the world on the first day that it came out, it is therefore garbage. Or that the idea that people feel like they need to send a message to the company by giving these games thumbs downs on Steam or zeros on Metacritic in order to get them to fix the problem, when you haven't even seen if they're aware of the problem. And making, From Software is not, Activision, right? Like they tend to do the work to make sure that the games work properly. I've never played a From Software game that was fundamentally broken.
Yeah.
And I don't even think this one is fundamentally broken. I think that, you're talking about like, the frame rate went from 60 to 40 and then back up to 60. And it's like, well, I'm playing on the PS5 where it's like 30 across the board.
Yeah.
So I guess the thing is that I'd like to just say I don't think there's anybody in the Rage Select community that is like this. But if you are
better not be.
If you are a person on the internet who is giving a game like Elden Ring a 0 because it has problems, or a thumbs down on Steam because it has problems at launch, then like you'd better keep up with this and then remove that review if the problem gets fixed.
Resolved, yeah.
Because the idea that you're going to hold a game accountable for things that are fixed in 2 weeks and have never been a problem since then. It was only if you tried to play it the day it came out, and it wasn't even as big of a deal. I mean, again, I don't know how it is on lower spec computers. It could be really bad, but it just gets under my skin a lot of times where it's like, most games launch with problems.
Yeah.
Like the idea that a game launches and it's perfect on day one, I haven't seen that happen for a long time. Just about every new big release, especially on the PC, tends to have a problem at day one that then gets ironed out within the first month of its life.
Yeah, as long as it's not, and you can't really play the game, or it's not even the game that you thought you were getting. Like if it's this,
Or to put it another way, let's go with first principles of Rage Select. Don't buy games the day they come out.
Yeah.
Wait to see what they're like. Go online. Digital Foundry has they get every single game that comes out and they do like tests with little maps that show if there are frame drops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, anything is going to be better.
Especially if that's like wildly important to you, then why set yourself up for that disappointment?
Right. The one thing this does notice on Steam that I did notice was that the frame rate is locked at 60, so it won't go above 60. I mean, this is almost always the case with From Software games, so I don't know. A lot of times, again, the PC gaming market is actually a lot smaller than the console gaming market.
Yeah.
And the idea that PC gamers never seem satisfied with a game the day it comes out, even though if in 6 months it's fine and it's the best game I've ever played.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like an unrealistic expectation to me, but that's just me. So, but From Software is aware of this, and they will be updating as time goes on. I would not be surprised to learn that the console versions get updates as well to make them run better and have ray tracing and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's see. In other Steam news, apparently there might already be plans to have a new Steam Deck.
I haven't even gotten the first one yet.
Apparently the Steam Deck is selling incredibly well.
Yeah.
It has been very well received in general by the people that have bought it. So, in fact, part of this article, this is a PC Gamer article where Gabe Newell was talking about how, like, let me see if I can find the quote. Maybe this isn't the same article, but apparently the upper tier configurations sold the best.
Nice.
And that wasn't expected. It was expected that people would go for the mid or the lower tier, but apparently the people that wanted it, they wanted the best version of it, and so they bought the highest tier one. And so they're like, well, if people want like big hardware, then we'll do a refresh that has even more hardware. If people are willing to spend the maximum amount of money that we'll let them spend, we should let them spend even more money.
I don't know why we would tell them not to.
The interesting thing about this, about talking about this, is that Newell had this one thing where he talked about the Steam Deck as representing a battery-capable, high-performance horsepower that eventually you could use in VR applications as well. The idea, and it's unclear exactly how this would be implemented, but the idea that a more powerful Steam Deck might even be a way to drive VR applications on a VR headset without having to buy a full $1,700 fucking computer, which is interesting because, as I was telling you before, it's like consoleizing the one market that isn't consoleized by standardizing a thing that you can just buy without having to know anything. You'd be like, I just want to play video games on my couch and maybe some VR games, and it's like, buy a Steam Deck too. Like, it's totally works for all of that, and you could just go buy one and then you're done. And then
set it and forget it.
Right.
You don't have to
as opposed
build
to like
a whole fucking computer.
What's the memory speed on this computer? And like, do I have the right
and that
cable?
is the thing that really prevents me. And there's so many PC games that we play that you'll like have me here for that I want to play, but like I'll never play it because I don't have a computer for it.
Yeah.
And now I have the option of being able to.
Yes. There's something else. Oh, I was gonna say I mentioned, some people in the Discord talked about it, I think I mentioned it last week, that like I've been wanting to plug my Oculus Quest 2 into my computer to play VR games, and to do that you need a USB-C cable that has the fast transfer, and so Oculus sells one that's like $80, and I was complaining about like, I gotta save up, I got an $80 fucking cable. It's like a 13-foot cable that you can plug in, and people are like, oh well, you could just use a regular USB-C cable. Well, I actually bought a USB-C cable that's like 12 feet long off of Amazon, and it's not, it's like, it does plug into USB-C things. I can plug it into my Xbox controller and play games on my couch with it, but it is not rated high enough to actually do the throughput necessary to run my Oculus Quest. And it's like, this is why I fucking hate PC gaming, because an unscrupulous vendor on Amazon can sell you a cable that it turns out is not actually the right cable inside, and so it's like not quite enough to do the thing. I watched this YouTube channel called Linus Tech Tips. It's just nothing but like this kind of, it's a combination of like doing stupid shit but then also reviewing like high-end products. One of the things they did was they bought like a $10,000 HDMI tester to just plug like random generic HDMI cables in to be like, does this do the right synchronization for HDMI 2.1, even though it says it on the box? No, it doesn't. But most people aren't even going to realize that, because they're not going to be able to tell the difference between it didn't do what I wanted it to and like it does show something on the screen. So yeah, that's why one of the reasons that I really like the Steam Deck is because I feel like if they could get it up to a point where I could get the same performance that I have on my my big PC.
Yeah.
But then also be able to, run it in handheld mode would be nice. Just because it represents a unified entry point into that whole space.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. We also had an issue last week with controller drift on the Steam Deck. Apparently, this was caused by. This is mostly on the right stick, and we've seen this happen on especially the Switch and Nintendo stuff, where if you just have the stick sitting by itself, it'll just kind of like drift in a direction. I like to give Steam a lot of shit, but this was fixed in a day. Apparently, they just sent an update that recalibrated the dead zone on the controller to make it a little bit bigger. Done.
Nice.
Fixed.
Yeah.
So
we do love quick fixes.
Yes, indeed. Let's see. From there, we had another interesting Steam thing where. Oh, this is the interview I was thinking about with Gabe Newell, where he was talking to PC Gamer about Steam Pass, and they were or about a Game Pass for Steam.
Yeah,
and they asked him basically are you considering a subscription service for Steam? And he said no, and the quote is, I don't think it's something that we think we need to do ourselves, building a subscription service at this time, but for their customers it's clearly a popular option, and we'd be more than happy to work with them to get that on Steam. So it would be interesting if we got to a place where Game Pass was integrated in Steam, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Because when you're in Game Pass and you search for a game that's not on Game Pass, you can then buy that game through the Microsoft Store using your stored credit card information from your Game Pass or your Microsoft login, which kind of seems like a thing that Microsoft would not want to get rid of, a potential revenue source.
That is true.
It'd be really strange. Anyway, let's see. Speaking of Game Pass, we found out what March's Game Pass games are going to be, and the big thing is that apparently Guardians of the Galaxy is already on Game Pass.
Oh, wow. Are people pissed?
Well,
people get all weird about I bought this game when it first came out, and now it's on Game Pass. I just didn't even have to pay for it. Yeah,
the thing is that this is not entirely surprising to me, because I believe last week we had a story where Square Enix was like, oh, this Guardians of the Galaxy game didn't sell what we wanted it to sell. And it's like Square Enix is at this point the king of it
had to be the greatest game of all time in the history of man for it to be considered successful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which Guardians of the Galaxy was just not ever going to be.
Yeah.
It was a good game. It was fun. I played it all the way to the end.
Everyone I know that got it enjoyed it, but it's not a game for everybody, and I think people are confused about the popularity of Marvel.
Right.
I think we're down coasting off of superhero stuff right now.
Yeah, I mean, it also it would have been better if it was released around a Guardians of the Galaxy movie or even Endgame or something that had the Guardians of the Galaxy in it, right?
100%.
But right now we're all in the middle of the fucking multiverse of WandaVision and the Winter Soldier with Loki. We don't have Guardians on the brain right now. When I think James Gunn, I think fucking Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, not Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, if you want to make a Peacemaker game, that would be weird.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of ennui about your fucking racist dad.
Yeah. Huh.
Maybe it's a rhythm game. There's a dancing game where they just do the little intro dance.
James Gunn's made video games before.
That's true.
So he could get Suda51's Peacemaker game. I'm just saying. He follows me on Twitter. I could ask him.
Good Lord Almighty. I keep forgetting that I interviewed James Gunn at my point so long ago.
I hate that interview.
Yeah.
You were fantastic in it, but it's such an awkward interview.
It's a very weird interview.
Yeah.
So we're also getting Kentucky Route Zero, lawn mowing simulator.
Fucking finally.
Microsoft Flight Simulator is coming to xCloud, which means that technically you can now play Microsoft Flight Simulator on your fucking phone if you want.
That's kind of weird.
I don't know how that works, but you can do it.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to go to an airport like just get a flight and then play it on my phone, and then if somebody sitting next to me is like, what are you doing? I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm flying this plane.
There's also another one that's coming out called Young Souls. I actually knew about this game because this was a Stadia game. So it was only on Stadia for a little while, and I considered doing it. It's like a brother and sister kind of monster attack thing.
Cute art.
Yeah, that's got some really nice cell shaded art. So like, keep your eye out for that. It's got a kind of a cool
looks
little
like a
system.
good one to like get your hands on.
Yeah.
Test out.
It's coming on March 10th, and that one's also just coming straight, like, it's not on Steam, it's not on consoles. It is coming out that day, and is also going to be on Game Pass.
Yeah.
But yeah, give it a look. It's got a kind of cool art style. The other one that I want to shill for is already out is Final Fantasy 13, or Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13, the third Final Fantasy 13 game where Lightning has to do everybody's chores before the world ends in 13 days because God said they're going to make the world go away. And so you've got like 13 days to solve everybody's problems in a world where people have been immortal for like several thousand years, and they've all live in the same city. It is a very strange game.
Yeah, sounds.
This is a game where instead of having a party, what you have is Lightning has 3 slots where she can switch between different outfits, like Final Fantasy X2, and so each outfit is a different build, and then as you use that build, you'll like reduce the energy, and then you switch to the other one that's been like recharging this entire time. It's a very, very odd game. I actually just loaded it up on my Xbox because I bought that shit.
Yeah.
If you've never played it before, it's a really strange game. Jinx and I did a review for it on Rage Select. That's how old it is.
Yeah,
this was back in the beginning when we were doing actual reviews for Final Fantasy.
Don't say the R word. Everyone will start asking for it.
I got your review right here. Elden Ring. It's good, I guess. Whatever.
7 out of 10.
I mean, I don't know. Like, ain't nobody got time to beat video games anymore.
Seriously.
Like, I'm 45 hours into Elden Ring, and I have no idea. I could be halfway through based on what the map is showing me. Like, holy goddamn. And I don't play those 80-hour RPGs. I don't know how eventually we're going to do it for Patreon, because at an hour a week, that represents like a year and a half of like really streamlined. Like, if I try to make this go as fast as humanly possible, I could maybe do it in a year.
Yeah. Ooh,
like,
that's crazy.
Whew,
boy.
Yep. But then that's everything, right? Guardians of the Galaxy was 20 hours long. If we did that for Patreon, it would be a half a year worth of sequential, or 3/5 of a year, 2/5 of a year. So yeah, all those things are coming out. Far Changing Tides also came out. You can watch Tessa and I play it. It was pretty cool. That was a very chill game. So let's see. From there, Michael's favorite feature is finally getting added to Forza Horizon 5. I don't know if you know this, Amanda, but Forza Horizon 5 did this thing. They got a little award for it, where they basically put kind of English, like a sign language overlay over the game. This is actually just the person describing it, but they'll show during the story cutscenes, it'll just pop out a little thing with a person signing the dialogue from the game, as opposed to having to read the subtitles, which I think is really cool. Yeah. And it wasn't in the game at launch, but it is now, apparently. So it's kind of interesting. At first, we were very confused because we were like, is this going to pop up while you're racing to like tell you what speed you're at, or like there's like a beeping noise? Is there going to be a person that pops up to be like beep 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 beep?
I kind of love that idea too, though. But
it's kind of cool. Like it actually got me thinking about how it would be really cool to have this option in just like a narrative game. Yeah, even though it would be a lot of work, obviously.
All right, but like, hear me out.
Yeah.
Do they have to be in costume? Like, all right, like, what if let's say Elden Ring has this?
Yeah.
Is there some like dude in a knight's like full armor, like signing.
Oh my God! What if? Okay, so
right, because you don't want it to take you out of the game. You can't do what Forza is doing with like a big blue screen and somebody just in like a Forza t-shirt. Right,
Sure.
it should be somebody that keeps you within the scope of the game. You don't want to break your immersion.
I have a better idea.
Yes,
I give you this one for free, Microsoft. So what if you had the person do the signing, right?
Yeah.
But then you motion captured them and put it onto like a skeletal frame, and then you were able to like choose what in-game character you want to pop up and do
so good
the thing for you.
I love it.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess it depends. I'm not entirely sure how readable that would be, but I mean, it would be cool if you like started up Elden Ring and they were like, "And which character would you like to be your ASL like interpreter?"
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine it'd be relatively easy.
I mean, a lot of it I think just depends on. I don't know how hard it is to do motion capture of like individual fingers on a hand.
But if that's your focus versus like body, that might not be as difficult as we think. As somebody who does none of it, I think it's super easy and they should do it.
It'd be, what'd be really cool is to start up like a company.
Yeah.
That does that like you give them the script for the game and then they just provide you with the skeleton files, with the animation files, and like the time codes and stuff, and then you can just be like, oh, maybe you can develop some sort of middleware so that it's a thing where like if somebody does the work for it, then you could just like plug it in, and then you could even outsource it to your community to just be like, if you have a webcam and could do this with a neutral enough background that we can run an AI to like do the main capture and then give it to somebody to clean up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. You could make this a feature that was more common. Yeah. I don't know. Cool stuff. Yeah. So let's see. What else do we have here? Resident Evil. So Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, and Resident Evil 7 man chases you in house. Biohazard, I guess, is the name of that one. Are getting an update for new consoles. So they're going to get ray tracing, a better frame rate, 4K resolution, and other stuff.
Nice.
And they're going to be free updates for anybody that has the games on the PS4 or the Xbox One. I think this is really smart because they did an update for Devil May Cry 5 that did all this stuff, and that's running on the same RE engine as everything else that Capcom is making right now. So the idea that you could then just like, once you've done the work to add that support into the engine, if these other games are running on the same version of that engine, it's like you could just apply those updates, and then things like ray tracing get done automatically. Like that's the whole point of them, is that they just take a light source and then do it. But those could really work for Resident Evil games because of how dark they are. And like you can see in this one, there's like a reflection on the wall. And those games already look really good.
Yeah, they do.
To begin with. So
makes it extra spooky scary.
Yeah. And I don't know if there's a date just later this year. There's going to be those updates. So
nice.
Oh, also the PS5 version are going to get the crazy vibration, the DualSense feedback. Okay, I know everybody's been waiting for this story because everybody knows what Amazon Luna is, right?
Yeah.
Amazon decided...
I can't tell if I'm just dumb or you're being sarcastic.
I'm being very sarcastic.
Yay!
Amazon Luna was Amazon's version of Google Stadia.
How'd that work out, Amazon?
Well, it's been in beta for the last 8 or 9 months. I know because I was in it. I have the controller, and I got invited to the beta. The problem, and I actually even signed up for the service because they had a whole like $5.99 a month, and then you get access to a certain number of games for free. But Luna is actually going from beta into full release, so anybody can sign up for it now. You don't have to sign up for the beta. In the United States. It's also allowing users to do what you can do: PCs, Macs, Fire TVs, Fire tablets, iOS phones and tablets, and Android phones and Chromebooks. One of the cool things is because Amazon owns Twitch, you have very direct Twitch integration where you can just hit a button and start streaming on Twitch.
Yeah.
Also, if you have other Amazon products, apparently you could just like, if you have like a Fire tablet, you could just like integrate it and use it as the camera for your Twitch stream and stuff.
That kind of makes sense.
They currently have a lot of connections with Ubisoft, but they were still charging full money to play Ubisoft games. I've only played a tiny bit of Stadia. I have played even less of Luna.
Yeah.
The other thing that they're doing, though, with this release is they are raising the general price of it. So it was $9.99 a month for the big subscription, and then the family channel, which is just specifically family games, are $6 a month. It used to be $6 a month for the regular channel and $3 for the family channel.
Oh.
But I got an email on this. Apparently, if you're a part of the beta, as long as you don't cancel your subscription, you get to keep the $6 a month, even though the price has gone up.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of looked at it as like I signed up for the beta. They said you're accepted. I bought the controller, and I was like, someday this may be useful. And $6 a month, I can write off my taxes, is not a big deal for it. They have a bunch of different, like the way that they do it is different. They have like a Prime Gaming channel that has, right now it has Devil May Cry 5, Observer, Fogs, Flashback, and Immortal Phoenix Rising. They have a retro channel that has like Street Fighter 2, Metal Slug, Castlevania, stuff like that. And then they have a Ubisoft channel and a family channel and like a Jackbox channel. So they have it divided up into different things. I'd be really curious to know how many people are actually using this service.
Not many, I'd imagine.
Because I don't think anybody remembers that it even happened.
Yeah.
Like, say what you will about Google Stadia, but at least it was enough of a trash fire that people knew it happened and made fun of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's bad when you're so forgotten they can't even make fun of you.
Yep. Okay, my last bit of inexplicable news comes from the Epic. From Epic.
From the Epic?
The Epic. Epic bought Bandcamp.
Yeah. John was telling me about this, and he was like, I feel like nobody cares.
I mean, I haven't used Bandcamp in a long time.
Well, we follow a lot of smaller punk and ska bands and pop punk bands, and so a lot of them come out with albums and put them straight in through Bandcamp.
Okay.
So it is something that affects our music listening. I don't know how many other people it affects.
So what I didn't know was apparently Bandcamp has a similar revenue split to what Epic has. One of the big things about Bandcamp is that artists get to keep, it's like 82% of the money that is generated via Bandcamp, and that's close to the same split that Epic has for the developers on their store. Because Epic makes so much fucking money from Fortnite that they literally don't have to worry about it because they've got just like billions, literal billions from fucking Fortnite. I think that this makes an interesting amount of sense because, well, currently Epic has an itch.io app that you can install on the Epic launcher that then lets you get stuff from itch.io. But what makes more sense to me than the fact that they already have an indie connection is the idea that, like, we're going to let people sell their music from Bandcamp on the asset store to game developers to be like, oh, I love that band. And hey, look, I can buy one of their songs to use in the game that I'm making. And then they get 82% like they used to. We're not taking an additional cut.
Yeah.
And you've got Epic propping you up, which right now, Epic has shown that they will throw around a shitload of money. They will waste a shitload of money just because they're trying to make a name for themselves in the scene.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense when you think about it that way.
Yeah. I didn't even think about them using it as like an asset for video games. Like, just
because, I mean, that's one of the things that people can do is that they make assets and put them on the Epic Game Store, and then other people can buy them and use them in their games.
Yeah.
The idea that you now have like
access to bands and music and a soundtrack that you can cultivate.
Or even if they're on those stores as a way as just a conduit to contact a band and be like, hey, how much would it cost for you to do 8 songs for me for the soundtrack of my game type of thing. Because they also bought Harmonix, if I'm not mistaken, a few months back.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, really? Why?
We wanted it. We're epic.
Yeah. So I don't know. It makes a certain amount of sense. It'll be interesting to see what they end up doing with it.
Yeah.
Of all the companies that you could get bought by, I feel like Epic would pay you a shitload of money and probably not just immediately come in and fuck everything up.
Yeah, they did say like that they're actively not changing anything with the bandcamp. So, because I know a lot of artists were super concerned about it right away. Naturally, I mean, any big purchase like that is going to change something for them one way or another. But yeah,
it seems to be the kind of a lot of the Microsoft acquisitions have been similar, where it's like, well, we're going to buy you, but we're not going to change anything.
Yeah, we just want you to do your thing.
We just want like 2%, and then you do whatever you want. So, which is an interesting way to future-proof a thing, to be like it's under this umbrella, so it's less susceptible to financial downfall that then it's just going to ruin a thing that was operating on razor margins because you have...
Oh, do you think these big companies are tired of just fucking gutting the shit out of companies that were successful before they got their gross, dirty, greedy hands on them?
I think that I think that some of them may have learned the lesson that when you do that, you end up killing the golden goose.
Yeah.
You end up what is it? You can shear a sheep many times but only skin it once.
Yeah.
Like you can get a big payday out of the company that you bought, but then you ruin it as a 30-year continuous like profit generator. So speaking of huge profits, I don't know, maybe we got some trailers. The first one, we have a 23-minute walkthrough of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Yay.
Amanda.
Yes?
I watched all 20 minutes of this.
That's on you. Don't blame me for that. Don't you put that shit on me, Jeff.
I'm not.
I know.
I'm not putting it on you. I don't understand. This comes out at the end of March, man. I don't get it.
Yeah, but so does Kirby, so I'll just watch that. I'll just play that.
I don't get it. This looked really repetitive and boring when I watched it. And I mean, like, I know that Borderlands is kind of repetitive and boring, and I think that there are some people who are interested in a kind of repetitive, like, I'm just going to play this with my friends and put on a podcast.
I want to be comfortable with it and just play a game that I know how to play.
Yeah, I guess it seemed really, like, it's very pretty.
I was talking to my coworkers about this, and they were like, I'm kind of interested in it, but I never really played Borderlands. And I was like, I played Borderlands a decent amount, and I think I bordered out. Because, like, it was fun when I first got it and, first got into it, and the world was fun, and the characters are kind of, like, that right kind of raunchy and silly, and the sense of humor was on my side, and now I'm like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm getting anything out of it when I play it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The thing is that I feel like Borderlands has just straight up not evolved. Mm-hmm. Like, they made the graphics better, but Borderlands 3 and Borderlands 1 are pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
You're fighting huge groups of enemies in order to get a whole bunch of drops, and most of them are trash, and one of them is a purple, and like, okay, I guess I'm just going to use that one. And because most of the stuff that they've added has been like, I don't know, this one, when you go to reload, you throw it and it explodes, and like this one, when you go to reload, you throw it and it becomes a turret, and this one like has lightning on it, and it's like, I guess, I mean, this is not fair at all, but like, I look at like what Elden Ring is doing with taking like existing Dark Souls and like adding, I guess I was thinking about the other day, the difference between like reimagining and evolution.
Yeah.
Because Elden Ring to me feels like they took the things that were a problem and tried to address them and fix them, as opposed to just like, well, you guys like Tiny Tina and how she's vulgar but also like a little girl, and like, oh, we made the graphics engine look really way better and it's got all these lights and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, right, but then when you watch this 20-minute video of them playing the game, it's like you're wandering around and then you find a bunch of things and you just hold down the fire button and you hit the special attack button and then you're done. And then, oh, what did you get? Like, throughout this entire thing, enemies keep dropping loot, and the people that are playing this do not pick it up or switch out their guns all that often. And there's a lot of also hard cuts, which makes me think that this game is like very difficult and that they're hiding the deaths off of
kind of makes sense.
hard cuts and stuff.
They I don't know. I mean, just looking at it, and I didn't get a chance to watch 20 minutes of a game I'm not going to buy. I feel like I've seen it before.
It just looks like Borderlands.
Right? Like, it doesn't look new or like, oh, that's interesting. Like, it looks similar to things.
Like, so from Borderlands 1 to Borderlands 2, there was like a jump in like the lunacy and the quality and like the way that it looked and stuff. But then from Borderlands 2 to Borderlands 3, not really as much. And then, you know, even this, it was like, it's just, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that somebody's going to like it. I mean, it certainly has an audience. It's just, I'm not it anymore.
I don't think that this feels kind of old to me.
Yeah. It to me, it's kind of, it's indicative of Gearbox's ethos of like having a good idea and then kind of running it into the ground.
For sure.
The one thing I will say though is that the person who's playing, their co-op person that they're playing with, the username on that person is Spellany, which I think is a really good fantasy name. Like that shit, like, I mean, all like the mission names and the gun names and stuff, those are all great. But, you know.
Well, they were never struggled with like naming things.
Yeah. So, from there we got a launch trailer for Shadow Warrior 3.
Shadow Warrior 3.
Oh my God, we're recording this. It's 8 p.m. and I haven't put up today's Shadow Warrior video. I'm still doing it. I'm still uploading it, goddammit. I love Shadow Warrior 3 so much.
Yeah.
I love this trailer because Lo Wang is literally editing the trailer for the new Shadow Warrior.
That's amazing.
And he's like going through it and he stops because he's like, oh my God, I'm making this terrible face in this trailer. And like, meanwhile, this mage lady that's in the game is like trying to hold off all these monsters that are outside. And then they like bust in and like Lo Wang he goes to save the monitor on his computer because he's like, I've been working on this trailer for 3 weeks now. This game is great.
Yeah.
I like this part where he's like, when did this happen? And it's this big goofy bird that pops in and starts fucking everything up and breathing lightning. And he's like, save the trailer.
That's fantastic.
Shadow Warrior 3 is fucking amazing.
Yeah, it looks it.
Yeah, this is at the very beginning. They have this version of Lo Wang where he's literally wearing like a wife beater and tidy whities, and he has the wife beater tucked into the tidy whities. He's such a dork.
Yeah. I love heroes that are embarrassing.
He's such a fucking dork. Like the reason that the Shadow Warrior didn't go up on time was because the way I had the audio mixed in it, you couldn't hear the dialogue, and I'm like, no,
you have
to hear the dialogue and not just the shooty bang bang noises. I'm gonna process this a second time. So, Shadow Warrior 3, man,
nice,
full sequential. If you're listening to this, you'll see the whole thing. Go to patreon.com/.
Michael?
Yep.
Nice.
Because we played Shadow Warrior 1 all the way through on the Patreon. Because I was like, nobody loves Shadow Warrior enough. It is basically the new Duke Nukem.
Yeah.
You have to play it. It's amazing. Boom.
Shabam.
And then they went all like serious in the second one, sort of. Like they went like 40% more serious. And then in this one, it's just like, it's
like,
so stupid.
Yeah.
Crank it all the way back up to 11. Amanda, there's a new WWE 2K.
Why?
Showcase.
Is this why you wanted me on this fucking podcast?
Yes.
You're like, we're talking about wrestling.
No, this is a very short trailer. Basically showing like two announcements. One is Showcase, where it appears like the Showcase this year is going to be Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, his career.
Going through his
career. Which makes sense. He's basically the only legend that they have on roster still. So
the only person left that anybody likes in the WWE.
I mean, they keep fucking firing everybody. They're like 2.5 wrestlers.
And then My Rise, which is the like, oh, you're a brand new wrestler in wrestling school or whatever.
Yeah.
You got to go through all the things to get it all the way up.
Female based?
You could do it a men's or women's
division. Okay.
Storyline. So Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The characters all still look fucking horrible.
Yeah. Look,
dead eyes.
I don't care what anybody says, and like it looks so much better than the last few games. It still looks like trash. You polish up trash, it looks like trash.
I mean, I don't know what the problem is with...
I don't know what the problem is.
Well, I don't know what the problem is with their dead fucking faces.
Yeah.
Like, I play video games. I don't have this problem when I play...
Anything else?
Take your pick. When I play Uncharted... Forbidden West, and I'm like, I don't look at Aloy's face and go, oh, it's a plastic doll person.
Yeah.
Whereas I look at this lady in there, My Rise, and I'm like, oh, look, a plastic doll person.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like there's no emotion behind the eyes. There's no. It's like watching mannequins fight each other. Like,
yeah,
I don't know how to explain
I'll be honest. If you were to show me this trailer but censor out everybody's face, it would actually look pretty good. But the minute that I look into the faces of one of these fucking weird dolls, it's like, oh god, my brain just goes no. It's literally the uncanny valley.
Well, yeah,
it's the literal uncanny
but
valley.
even like you see them holding moves. Like positions or punching, there's no expression on them.
Yeah,
like it's just deadpan faces.
Yeah,
and it's so weird. Like,
I mean, considering the pageantry of wrestling, that makes a big difference.
This is why I always fight that wrestling should have a more stylized look. I don't understand we want it to look realistic. Like, wrestling isn't realistic. Why do you have to have, like, it has to look exactly like... That's stupid. Just make them extraordinary and like, stylized, because it would... kill that weird fucking robot face, but then also like add more to like the pageantry of wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Like they've got this part in this trailer where it's like Rey Mysterio is flipping.
He just looks like he's half asleep.
It just has like very little expression.
Yeah, so. Like their expressions are like mouth open, mouth shut. There is nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime they want to convey emotion in the trailer, if you watch the emotion, they just use the scene from the actual wrestling, like from the show, and then they cut to action in the game, because you don't have to have that emotion showing through.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. We'll find out in like a week.
Yeah.
John Sitton said he's going to come back and tell me about Razzlers.
Oh, God.
The Razzlers. So, and if anybody's been burned hard by the WWE franchise, it's your poor husband.
Yep. Oh, that poor man.
So, let's see. From there, we got a really cool story trailer for Dawn of the Monsters, which was made... Our buddy Matt Frank worked on this game.
Never heard of him.
Apparently, like, this is... I don't know. It's like this goofy trailer where like a bunch of kaijus came out and we couldn't fight them. And then it's like we developed these 4 fighters on the space station. There's like 2 Ultramen and then like 2 kaijus that apparently are controlled by people.
Yeah.
And then we're going to like, come on down and blast them.
Hell yeah.
Which... I don't know. This game comes out in like a week and a half, I guess.
Ooh, are you going to make Matt play it? Play your own game, Matt.
I mean, probably. It's probably.
Matthew Franklin.
Yeah,
Right?
Mr. Franklin.
We have to assume that Matt Frank is just too short.
2 people instead
of Matthew Franklin.
2 children standing on each other.
That's 100%. I 100% believe that Matt Frank is 2 kids in a trench coat.
But yeah, this looks pretty cool. I hope they don't fuck it up. I mean, Way Forward is pretty good about this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it looks
fun. Yeah,
pretty solid. Yeah. Let's see. We also got a 5-minute trailer for Kirby.
Fuck yeah, we did, Kirby.
And the Forgotten Land. Did you watch this one?
No, I just assume it's going to be great. I don't need to see trailers to know I'm gonna watch it.
You don't even need that anymore.
Don't even. I can only get so aroused.
Yeah, I watched this one. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of just reiterating a lot of the Kirby stuff. I guess one of the things that they talked about, which I don't think I'd seen before, is apparently you're going to have a whole village of Waddle Dees, and when you rescue the various Waddle Dees on the map, it's going to be like, oh, if you have 20 Waddle Dees, then you can build the like cantina where you can eat stuff and then get the upgrades, for later on, which is good. Outside of that, I think there isn't a lot here that we haven't seen before.
Yeah. Everything's adorable. Everything's amazing. And I love it. This is my Elden Ring.
I mean, I laugh, but it is.
It's 100% my Elden Ring. Yeah. I ain't even fronting.
They showed a bunch of. I guess some of this is they showed some copy abilities I don't know that we'd seen before. I mean, they showed like the sword and the bomb and stuff, but then there was like the drill and the ranger gun. And like
who gave Kirby a gun?
Yep.
Kirby's like, I'm gonna fucking shoot somebody.
Kirby's got a gun. Also,
no.
Yeah, you can swap out like so. They talk about like you could change like the regular hammer to like a toy hammer that's like bigger. So there's like upgrades for the various absorption abilities that you get.
Nice.
That also change the way Kirby looks.
Hell to the wild hammer,
the clutter needle. They also showed a little bit more of the what was the mouthful mode.
Mouthful.
Yeah. They kind of showed what they showed before, but they also showed like using
dome mouth,
various like mouthful modes.
Give them the old pipe mouth, eh?
Unlock stuff. Yeah, they showed Waddle Dee Town.
Hell yeah, I love it. Waddle Dee is an amazing character.
Mm-hmm. They also, I mean, I think this was announced before, right?
But are amazing characters.
Bandana Waddle Dee or whatever. You can play the game co-op. So
yeah. I fucking love it.
Little gotcha.
I already have a Kirby tattoo, but whenever I see more Kirby, I'm like, I need more Kirby tattoos.
It's gonna be pink by the time.
Well, I have had this idea of having Kirby tattoos that are just Kirby as other tattoos I already have. But yeah, so like I have all of the same tattoos over and over again, but they're all just Kirby with those tattoos.
Nice. Did you see the
that there's a movie theater?
No,
because that is very exciting.
No, it was the going to the little cafe and getting
they had a little mouthful card,
mode,
yeah,
like cakes.
Yeah, it's so cute. It was so cute.
It was very weird.
I'm gonna just cry the entire time I play this game.
That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, Kirby and Waddle Dee and the little thingy. Yeah, so there's all kinds of stuff.
God, I'm gonna play the fuck out of this game.
Kirby seems like it's gonna be pretty good. Seems like it's gonna be a pretty good video game.
I'm gonna call out of work. I can't. Kirby came out.
I actually cut off a story, but apparently, like there were like businesses in Japan that on Friday that when Elden Ring came out, they were just like, just don't come in. Just we know you're gonna.
That's amazing.
We don't even want you here because we know you're just gonna be thinking about it.
Yeah,
just fucking stay home and play Elden Ring. We know you want to. Just do it.
If I had my own business, I'd be like that. Look, all right, I already know that you're not gonna be here because your stupid fucking game came out.
Yep. We got a console announcement for Cult of the Lamb. So Cult of the Lamb is going to be on consoles. If y'all don't remember, this is like a very weird Devolver thing where you play as like a cult leader that's also a sheep that is like sacrificing their followers to get power-ups and various things.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Yep. Not much more than that.
Do we know a date for it yet?
I don't believe so.
Yeah.
I don't believe there's been an actual release date.
Oh, well.
So, yeah, it just says coming soon.
I'm going to get that baby on the Switch.
Yep, Switch, PS5, Xbox, etc. Let's see. We got a trailer for The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero. I didn't know this. I assumed that when I saw this wandering around the internet that this was just a new Trails game.
Yeah.
Because there have been a whole bunch of those. I lost track a while back. This is actually a port of a PSP game that came out like many years ago, was never really formally released in the United States. It was fan translated, but they're making like this full upgrade, and you could tell because whenever they show the actual
gameplay,
when they showed like the anime cutscenes, it looks all fucking great, and then they show the game itself, and it's like, oh, this is a PSP game.
Yeah, for sure.
Apparently, this was an incredibly well-regarded game. The Crossbell arc is what they called this because it tied into a bunch of other games, but it's about a guy that comes to town to be a cop in like the big city, in the big JRPG anime city, which is cool. I don't see that very often. Because we have that Platinum Switch game that came out where you played as the JoJo cops that had like the big monsters on their handcuffs. But September 27th.
Neat.
Switch, PC, PS4, and PC. So We got a combat trailer for Babylon's Fall. I am Amanda, tell me what you know about Babylon's Fall.
0.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be everybody's answer. So,
But that's really pretty looking.
this is
But I'm a sucker for glowing flowers all over the place.
Platinum Games' latest game.
Huh.
And it looks like Godfall, like that game Godfall that came out.
Yeah.
Where it's like a multiplayer online Destiny style game, but it's got like third person action adventure stuff. I actually looked today to see if I could find like a review of it, because it came out today, the day we're recording this.
Yeah.
It is already out.
Nobody touched it.
I have not heard anybody say anything about it. I couldn't find any reviews on Metacritic. There might be some now, but like when I looked earlier today, there weren't any.
Yeah.
It looks so generic and lifeless, in my opinion.
It does, but it's just got pretty elements to it.
Yeah.
Like they had like a giant ass knight that was like all blue that looked really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, generically cool. I don't know how to explain. So like John collects action figures.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, I don't know what property this is from, but it looks cool. This has that vibe of like, like that looks neat. I don't know what it's from, and it doesn't matter just because that looks neat, if that makes sense. Like it's not nothing about it makes you want to learn more about what it is.
Yep.
It's just like, ooh, those are pretty. That's like glowing blue bad guys.
Mm-hmm. Cool character designs and like kind of decent environments. I know I say this a lot, and I know that it's not just like a thing where individual developers can make this decision, but like whoever it was that greenlit putting this out like 8 days after Elden Ring came out is a fucking fool.
Yeah.
I actually saw a whole editorial today that was like, poor Horizon. Like Horizon Zero Dawn got its lunch eaten by Breath of the Wild, and Horizon Forbidden West is getting its lunch eaten by Elden Ring.
Yeah, but isn't that like part of the business of knowing when these other big games are coming out?
You know what? I don't know. I keep feeling like, I mean, I don't know. It could be because I did the math.
But how long do you wait?
Well, I don't know, because the thing is, I did the math on March. Here, let me just tell you, because I was like, oh man, February was so packed. I guess March will be where I pay for that, because there won't be as many things. But like, you know, if you guys want to line up for March, we got Elden Ring, and this week we got Shadow Warrior 3. We got the Aperture Desk Job. We got Far Changing Tides. The end of this week, we got Gran Turismo 7 is out. That Conan Chop game has been out for a while. Project's Triangle Strategy comes out this Friday. That Babylon's Fall game I literally have sitting next to your name next week. But that's if I decide I want to spend $60 on it. At the end of next week, WWE 2K22 comes out. The week after that is Dawn of the Monsters. And the end of that week is that Stranger of Paradise Dark Souls style Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
The week after that is Who Pressed Mute on Uncle Marcus, which is one of those FMV games that I love so much. The DLC for Ghost Runner, and then Ghostwire Tokyo in the last week of the month.
And Kirby.
And Kirby.
You don't have Kirby on here, Jeff.
And
where is
Kirby,
it? There it is. Okay.
And Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, as well as a bunch of other stuff that's just slotted in here. LX2. There's a Starship Troopers game that's coming out.
There's a Starship Troopers game?
I didn't know. I just looking at the release schedule.
Right, well,
There's
yeah.
Shredders. Here's a game that's been on my radar for a while called Kraken Academy. That's like you go to a school full of Cthulhu's, and it's a romance game that's coming out.
Yo, we've been playing a lot of Cthulhu romance games. Is there something you need to tell us, Jeff?
I just go where the games are.
I just go where my heart tells me.
Yep. That's not even
if tentacles are involved, that's none of my business.
That's not even to mention the things that I've skipped over, or things that haven't even been announced and are still coming out this month.
Sure.
Like, holy hell.
Yeah, because like people don't think about the on a whim indie game that suddenly took the fucking world by storm that you have to play within the week that it came out.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Like that Beast Twins, or that whatever that thing was, the Souls thing that I was talking about on Game Pass. It was just like, oh, and here's this out of nowhere. I don't even have it on the schedule right now, but it's like,
yeah, but now you want it.
Fuck you! Like, oh my god, fuck you. So yeah, and again, yeah, not to mention one, the stuff that comes out that nobody knew was going to be a hit, and two, the stuff that just fucking comes out of nowhere, and it's just like, oh, at least Scott Cawthorn isn't releasing video games anymore, because it's had to worry about just like, here you are minding your own business. Oops, there's a new Five Nights game right now. You know what? Here's another one.
Like you play all the Five Nights games?
That's true. I don't play that. Here's another one. I didn't even know this. This was in February. This was halfway through February. There was a River City Girls Zero prequel game that is already out on the Switch. It's like a 16-bit demake of River City Girls, and they've got this trailer with, it's like an animated trailer where the girls singing about the plot, everything that's happening, but it's got the boyfriends are in there, Cunio and Ricky, and then the girls from River City Girls are in there, and it just looks a little kind of funky around the edges, but I mean, you know, like this game came out in February and I missed it because there was so much other shit that was coming out.
Shit in February.
Yeah, to the point where it's like, God damn, I used to have to fight to fill up my schedule, but not anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of the Patreon videos this week is going to be for a game called Little Orpheus that's like this Apple Arcade game that was made by the people that made like Amnesia. That I just I never played it. I don't know anything about it, but I watched it. I was like, that seems cool. I guess let's put that out too. So yeah. Here's another one. Spidersaurus, which was an Apple Arcade game, is going to come to consoles in this spring, and this is a WayForward game, the same people that made Dawn of the Monsters, and the whole setup for the plot is like, in the future, in order to make more meat, we decided to splice together spiders and dinosaurs.
Perfect. If there was ever a thing to do.
And so what these things are, Amanda, is they're just dinosaur heads on top of spider bodies.
That's amazing.
And then it's a 2D like side scrolling action game.
Well, that looks stupid.
Yeah.
And fun. Like not negative stupid. I just mean like they.
Well, and there's like two characters. Like the main character has like a baseball shooter, and then the other character is like this glam rock guitar lady. And they're shooting the spider.
This looks like the kind of weird, shitty one-season cartoon I would have watched as a kid in the 90s.
And then told me about for a long time.
Yeah, and you're like, please stop telling me about this. I'm never going to watch it.
But yeah, I have no idea what the hell is going on. But this came up as well. I was just like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Great. Let's do it.
Wow.
There's a spider that's also a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yep. It's not three dinosaurs. It's one dinosaur and a spider, guys. Come on. One game we will not be playing because we already played it was The Ascent, which was that cyberpunk action game, which is coming out on the PlayStation on March 24th. This was a game that was originally on the Xbox and was Xbox Game Pass, Xbox exclusive. I really, really like this game, kind of top-down, third-person action shooty bang bang with an RPG thing on it. It was really fun. I think when Jason and I played it, we played it co-op. And we didn't get far enough to the point where we actually got the story started and got all the guns.
You two struggle to get far enough in a game?
Hey, man, I was doing my best. I blame Jason.
Same.
So yeah, that's happening. Also, hey, are you excited for Ghostwire Tokyo? Because guess what? They put out a free visual novel on the PlayStation 5 and 4, and later on the PC a little later this month. It's a prequel to Ghostwire Tokyo.
Nice.
I actually downloaded this and we tried to do a video on it, but it was
too visual
such a visual novel.
I was like, shut the fuck up. Don't make the funny. We're getting plot, baby.
Well, also it has no voice acting, so it was just like, well, we either read this out loud or like people are just going to downvote this.
First of all, you should just have every host pick a character and we just...
What the fuck is this video? Oh, it's from August 2020.
Pet the dog? What? I'm sorry.
Oh, he's saying... Oh, I think he's talking about... Okay, yeah, I remember this. Where it was like talking about the game, but then the question is, can you pet the dog? And the answer was like, yes.
I follow a TikTok account that is exclusively like, can you pet that dog in... Or like, can you pet any animal in a game? And they go to every single game. And they did actually, can you pet... like the wolf monsters in Elden Ring. And then it's just a video of somebody getting eaten by a wolf. Yeah. Do not try to pet.
No. Just speaking of T-Rexes, there's a place in Elden Ring where all of the monsters are just like what if a dog was also a T-Rex and like really horrifying and scary?
Yeah.
What if a bird was also like, what if it was a bird but the size and shape of a Tyrannosaurus Rex?
Like a shoe bill.
Sort of.
Have you ever seen a shoe bill?
Yes.
They're some of my absolute favorite.
They're very angry.
They look. They're not though. Like they just have grouchy eyes. Yeah. They always look like they're like, bitch, I'm gonna come kill you, and you're just like, I'm so sorry, sir.
Yeah. Anyway, this Ghostwire Tokyo prologue is out now on the PlayStation, and it's coming on the PC on the 8th of March. So next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Portal spinoff desk job, Aperture Desktop is out on the Steam Deck.
Hell yeah, it is.
Before Amanda and I started recording this,
full playthrough, baby.
We played this absolutely goddamn delightful game.
Hell
if you
yeah.
have a computer in 30 minutes, you are doing yourself a disservice. You need a controller. You can't play with a keyboard, but
yeah.
And there's also parts of the controller that are like it's supposed to be played on the Steam Deck.
Clearly, yeah.
But
like. So fun.
It was
clearly written for Rage Select.
Yes. It had mantises and chickens and Aperture Science and tattoos,
toilets, which is anything Rage Select is.
Yeah.
It's a garbage fire toilet.
It's a toilet with a machine gun strapped to the side. That's Rage Select, a toilet that also has a machine gun. Go get it. It was wonderful. Or watch us play it.
Yeah, we played it.
Or both.
We were really funny.
Yeah.
The guy thought we were great.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
10 tens.
Let's see. We don't have that much else this week. Warren Spector is apparently working on a new immersive sim, which is exciting because Warren Spector is the king of immersive sims. He made Deus Ex and also Epic Mickey 2 and stuff like that. So apparently the last game that they made was this Ultima Underworld Ascendant, which was like supposed to be a spin-off of Ultima, and it was bad. But apparently he said like
this one's not going to be bad.
We learned from what we did wrong there. We've got a new producer to keep everybody on track.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Warren Spector's actually a local to Austin. It's funny because when I was in animation school, I was one of the people in my animation class is a guy that worked the last thing he worked on. He was actually in a YouTube video for Star Trek Lower Decks. Like he was literally in a video talking about a character and drawing one of them.
You're like, I know that guy.
Yeah, like I went to class with that guy.
Yeah.
He was incredibly talented, so much more talented than I am. But one time he went to me and he was like, he's like, you play video games, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, one time when I was younger, like my dad and I like was hanging out with my uncle, and he's this video game guy, and his name's was like Warren Spector, and I was like, oh, really?
Just some video
is this
game
just
guy?
your uncle is Warren Spector? Oh, you don't know who Warren Spector? You're the worst. You're the worst. How dare you be a nephew?
This was wasted on you.
That's right. Anywho, all right, we got a few fun things. A guy built a PSP out of Legos. This is part of that like Lego ideas thing.
Yeah. Oh,
where
that's
you can
cool.
submit stuff. And he made a PSP. He made a bunch of like 3D printed stickers.
Yeah.
To make it look like a PSP with like the buttons and the D-pads and stuff.
Yo, that's
this
cute.
is a cool little thing. So apparently it's a very cute story because you get to write your little story.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently when he was a kid, he wanted a PSP and he couldn't get one. And so he built one out of Legos.
That's adorable. He's like, I've been making this for years.
Yep. But it's
I like
cool
how many
Lego.
people have this weird nostalgia for PSP because I don't. My brother loved his PSP.
Somewhere in this house is a PSP Go and the docking station to connect it to a television.
When you say it, so people, we're not on camera, but when you said it, you like looked up at the shelf that's in this room.
That's where the PS
and then you looked around like it might be a ghost. Like somewhere in this house is a PSP Go. Do you feel the presence?
Everybody join hands so I can summon my PSP Go. We're gonna play some Clank spin-off games. Somewhere I have one. I look up there because that used to be where my PS Vita TV was.
Yeah, I remember that being there. Where'd that go?
It's probably in the same place as the PSP. I don't throw anything away, so they're not dead.
Is it like Poltergeist? It fell through the wall?
No. Yeah. Nah.
It's around.
It's around. let's see. From there, we got somebody. This is a trend I feel like that happens where somebody demade the original Elden Ring trailer into like looking like a PS1 game, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
this one isn't quite as good as some of the other ones, and some of the other ones I feel like they actually make a game. Like one of the things we're going to play in February that came out was somebody released a PS1 Bloodborne demake.
Yeah,
like just for free. Just go play this. Too many fucking things, but this is pretty cool looking.
God, too many fucking things.
Too many fucking things. I forgot.
And then come like trailer. April, you're gonna be like, "There's nothing to play."
Well, yeah. I mean, eventually, that's when we go back to the well and we look for the stuff that we skipped over. But which is why I always get really finicky about the idea of just like, well, should I do Babylon's Fall as a one-off or should I save it because in April it's going to be like, oh, now I have nothing and I need to play this.
Yeah, true.
And last but not least, we got a cute video of Gabe Newell going out and delivering Steam Decks to people personally, like the first round of Steam Decks. And he like signed a bunch of them and he gave it to him. I was telling Amanda that I think this video is fucking hilarious because like the first guy that they show on this video, he's actually really excited and like they give him the package and it's like open and he opens it up and he sees that Gabe Newell signed it. He's like, oh, that's really cool. He's like, because Gabe Newell's like, oh, I'm Gabe. And he's like, oh yeah, I know who you are. And he's like, oh, this is super cool. But then like the next 3 or 4 people that
they're like, who?
Well, there's one where it's like they just walk up and the guy's like, oh, cool. And then, like, he doesn't open the box, even though the box is open for him to, like, look at it. And he's just like, oh, that's cool. There's one they include where they just walk up to, like, a lady's house. And she just, like, takes it. She's like, thanks. Like, there's a camera.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know how famous they think Gabe Newell is. Even if you're buying a Steam Deck, I don't think your first thought is, like, I sure hope Gabe shows up.
This one, they're delivering it to like the guy's girlfriend.
Oh,
it's not even the person who ordered it. I don't know why they kept this footage in there outside of thinking that like maybe this didn't go the way you thought it would, but you still wanted to make a video out of it.
I kind of wonder. I mean, because we know that they have a pretty decent sense of humor, so I think they might have just
done it on purpose.
They leaned into like they didn't expect it to go poorly, but I think they might have just been like, actually, it's more hilarious that people don't give a shit that it's Gabe.
Yeah.
Well, like somebody's fucking mom is like, neat, thanks.
Yeah, she says, do you need me to sign for it? And he's just like standing there kind of waiting to be like recognized, and he's like
who would
no
recognize? Like, one, he has a full beard, long hair, hat, face mask, and glasses.
He's wearing the weirdest face mask in the world.
He is, and I think part of that is just it's fitting his face weird because of the beard.
Yeah,
but like, no, it's definitely shaped like a fucking duckbill. Why, Gabe? Yeah, like the whole thing is kind of goofy, I think.
It's very weird. I will say, though, 2 things, right? One is that he talks about how when he was younger, that he started off as like a delivery boy, like a message delivery boy, and how this really reminds him of it. And then also he talks about how he just reads every single email that gets sent to him at like
that's
Gabe
exactly what I needed to know, because now I'm gonna try to make friends with Gabe Newell.
Well,
I'll literally be like, I'm just gonna send him a newsletter once a week of like,
what
hey Gabe, what are you up to? I watched the finale of Archive 81. It was really good. I highly suggest it if you haven't watched it, just like every week, just to see if he like
notices you.
Yeah. What if we just become friends because I email him all the time?
Yeah. There's also this one part where he looks like he walks up to these guys that are moving
and just like hands them.
And I think only one of them actually ordered this, and then he just brings a few of them.
Can you imagine if you're the asshole who paid for it and then your friends are just there with you, so he gives them away?
I don't know. It's a very strange video.
How would you react if Gabe Newell walked up to you,
showed up at my door?
Yeah, and he's like, "Hey, you ordered this for me."
So I think that Rage Select is obviously much smaller now than it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that has informed a lot of my attitudes about like famous people online was when I worked at Spill, and the fans of Spill would come into town and treat me like a famous person.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, why are you doing this?
Why?
This is stupid.
We're at Taco Cabana right now.
like people would stand in a semicircle in front of me listening to me talk about something, and I'm just like, I'm just this guy.
Yeah.
Like the first time somebody tried to buy me a drink, I was like, no, but how about I buy you a drink for being a fan, you know? And they were like, no, I want to do this.
My favorite thing is the seeing people hit that learning process where the fans would be like, no, you famous, me give you.
Right.
And then most people did not lean into that and were very like,
but really?
Yeah.
No, come on. This is a joke. This is a put on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut it out. I just, you paid money to stay in a hotel in Austin. Like, it's fine.
You should go do something cool.
Yeah.
So I think that if Gabe Newell showed up at my house, I probably would have a fairly muted reaction. Either that, or I would just be like, "Hey man, thank you for the Steam Deck. Can I get another Portal game, please?" They'd be like, "Well, we put out one today," and they'd be like, "Really? How long is it?"
30 minutes?
30 minutes?
Okay.
Can I get a full one?
Game. Yeah, give me like a big
I'd actually, you know what? I'd actually have a lot of... I actually think that I would like to interview Gabe Newell because Steam is a weird fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's not a corporate... It's like real weirdly hippy dippy and like it's not corporate owned. Like I was telling you before that in the Steam offices you could just
work on whatever.
You just work, you decide what you want to work on, and if you get bored working on it you can just go to another project and work on it. And it's one of the reasons why Team Fortress 2 is full of bots and shitty is because nobody wants to work on it, so just nobody does.
Yeah.
And they don't have a process for forcing people to work on it. So I would actually really be interested. I mean, I don't know, maybe there's stuff already on the internet and I just don't care because I get really bored about listening to people talk. Sometimes I get really bored about listening to people talk about making games, but like, tell me the story of how Aperture Desk Job got made.
Yeah.
Like, was there a Skunkworks thing? Was it something where you guys just have a lot of like really high grade talent on hand? Because, J.K. Simmons or somebody who sounds like him did lines for that game, right?
Yeah.
So like there had to be a process for making that. How do you make a game in an office where people can just be like, "Hey, I'm bored making Desk Job. I'm going to go fuck off. I'm going to go start working on the next VR headset here."
I would really fucking live for, I know we just said we wanted like a full length Portal game.
Yeah.
But I could also live in a world where they just casually on the reg give us 30-minute
Portal experiences.
Yeah. Like just maybe not even Portal, but just that same like, look, I just wanted to make a game and it's 30 minutes long and here it is. And just like,
yeah.
Because they're so fucking good at it. Like a bite size, like a snack, like a little nibble of a fucking game that's perfect, like beginning, middle, end, perfect. Yeah, 100%. I'm down for that. I mean, especially free, but Did
they actually make it though? I was just thinking. It says developer Valve.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't
when
sure.
Because I was looking for the voice actor of Grady. What's the name of the
Grady? Yeah.
The robot. Yeah. What's that?
This is a VR game called Aperture Hand Lab that's probably meant as a tech demo for the individual digit tracking on the Vive or whatever they are. They've done a few of these before. There's another one that they had where you have to fix one of the bots from Portal 2.
Also, Aperture Hand Lab sounds like a bad porn fan fiction.
Yeah, I think I would be interested in talking to them because in a lot of ways it's like, I didn't actually think about it before, but now that I do think about it, like that structure of how that structure of how how their office works explains why Steam doesn't ever get fixed.
Yeah.
Of revamping the entire Steam front page to make it like really, really
functional, like
user friendly and slick, as opposed to just like, well, it works and we're making a lot of money, so like why deal with it? Because obviously they've got talented people, and obviously the Steam Deck has been, like I said, universal acclaim. So yeah, I don't know. I'd probably I'd probably be able to hang out with Gabe.
I'd be like, can I have a job, Gabe? Gabe,
can I work at
Gabe?
Valve? I'm
100% now. Like I keep thinking about it. I'm just gonna email him.
I mean,
I'm just gonna email him, hang out.
Why not?
I'm gonna be like, you're ever in Austin? You want barbecue?
I guess for me, it's like when you say it like that, it comes down to when you ask me about famous people, and I'm like, well, I don't like to hang out with people anyway, so I don't give a fuck whether it's Gabe Newell or fucking Nicolas Cage or like you. No,
I kind of and that's really the tier of this is Gabe Newell, Nicolas Cage, and then me. That's how it works.
Those are the three types of people you can hang out with.
The cycle of fame that we're dealing with here.
All right. Well, that's it. Let's end on that very weird note. Rage Select Podcast, mail rageselect.com's email address, but more importantly, if you've never been a patron before and you've listened all the way to the ending, you would like to help Rage Select stay in business, patreon.com/Rage Select is not just for bonus videos, it's also for this podcast. It takes like an entire day to research and then several hours to record every week. So,
in the comments below, tell me what I should email Gabe and talk to him about. Give me questions, not video game related, but literally like
life questions.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, what's your favorite color?
Yeah. What do you think Gabe Newell's favorite sushi is?
Fuck. I bet he's like a basic California roll guy.
Let's go find out.
Yeah, I'm gonna.